Yo, 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 what's cracking? What's good, everybody? Okay, I messed up. What's good? Can y'all hear me? Might not be able to
Yeah,
see
I
me.
hear you.
Hopefully y'all can
Yeah,
hear
I
me
hear
though.
you. Yeah.
We good though. We back, man. You know what I'm saying? Back. You know what it is? Heart of the city, man. Where we cover all New York City sports. If you guys are new to the program, to my right, Coach Ed. Down beneath me, Jeffrey T, 85, man. We make up the trio that is the heart of the city, man. We keep it pumping. Let's go, man. Today's show, man. Um, we're gonna have a little more of a casual show. Lots to get into though, man. Action-packed weekend, sports-wise. But I'm also welcoming a little bit of debate here tonight. A little bit of debate. I'm taking all questions in the chat. Um, anybody wants to come up, call in, or whatever, you're more than welcome to do so. Tonight is the night. Tonight is the show because I just want to keep it real and defend my unpopular opinions. So, with that being said, man, Coach Jeffy, how y'all doing tonight, man? What's good, man? Talk to the people. What's
Yeah, I'm
good, Proof
good.
man? I see you.
Yeah, I'm good. Just hanging in there, trying to, taking it day by day, working at it. That's it. Oh man, you got to be kidding me, Cliff. Sorry, I'm watching the
What's
Rutgers game.
what's good, Jeff?
Cry, Eagles, cry on the road to Missouri.
A
Cry, Eagles, cry.
little bit louder.
Blowing games, yes, 1, 2, 3. Miss 'em low, miss 'em high, and watch those Eagles cry. Cry, Eagles, cry on the road to Missouri. LOSERS, losers. That's the only trolling you're
Bravo,
ever gonna be.
bravo.
That's the only trolling you're ever
Yeah,
gonna hear me do. I just thought of that.
yo, if anything, flip that, yo. That's something.
No, they don't have Eagles fans. Eagles fans are gonna be coming at me like,
It's
well,
okay.
what did your team do this year?
This is the
Your
smoke
team
show,
went
man.
nowhere. We
Time to
kicked
come
your
on.
ass.
Time to come on. This is the smoke show. I got plenty of smoke for them
That's
cats.
just all. That's just
For
all
real.
fun. I'm just doing that for fun.
Of
I'm
course,
just
it's
doing it for
always
fun.
fun,
Yeah.
man. What's up, Coach Dante? What's good, man? Shout out to Coach Dante, man. Go sub to that guy, man. I've been watching
Yes.
your videos, man. Good
Hey,
stuff, Coach,
coach.
man. Appreciate you. Um, Levance, what's good, man? Appreciate you, man. Much love and
Man,
respect, everyone.
we eating today, Van?
New City Empire Sports, man. Fun fact: the Philadelphia Eagles are the second team to choke a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl since the Atlanta Falcons in Super Bowl 51. Excellent Nuggets, man. When the Philadelphia Eagles lose, everybody wins. Exactly. Everybody wins, man. Everybody wins except Eagles fans. So let's get into it, man. This heart of the city, man. But the important news of the day is actually, oddly enough, Philadelphia Eagle related. Um, that being the offensive coordinator, what's this, Steichen?
Shane
Um,
Steichen.
Steichen, Stitches, whatever. He got hired by the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
So that took automatically. Well, we already knew before the Super Bowl, Wink Martindale was out of the running, but it officially took him out of the running. And the one everybody was worried about, Mike Kafka, he is no longer in the running because the Arizona Cardinals turned around and hired the Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator. Oddly, the Eagles got both of their coordinators took, and the Chiefs kept their whole coaching staff intact. And they won the Super Bowl. So I thought that was strange as well. But what that means though for Giants fans is Mike Kafka is coming back. He will be back in year 2 of the New York Giants. So what is the significance of this? And we can go both sides here. Like I said, it's gonna be a casual show. I do want smoke from Eagle fans. If there's if I know they hiding under the rocks right now, in the bushes, then crawl back into the into the cave or whatever, for to next season. But if there's any out there, if there's any still out there, because they was damn sure grateful enough to troll my show when they beat the Giants. So if it's any of y'all out there, more than welcome to come up, man. Link is in the chat, man. Let's get it, man. But I'm gonna pass this over to Coach. Coach, what is the significance, man, of first you could talk about the Eagles if you want to, them losing their two coordinators, man, how that would affect them moving forward. But we a New York show, so what's the significance of Kafka and Wink coming back in the system for year 2?
Continuity. You continue to build on what you already started. The players are familiar with the coordinator because each coordinator is different no matter what. Even if you have the same system, everyone does things differently. Calls, the game plan, it doesn't matter. It's still right now you have continuity, familiarity, being that we had new staff this past season coming back, the players that were already playing last year can help any new players coming in. So it just helps take what you've already instilled, and help it grow, continue to grow, and you're not restarting again like you have in the past.
What's your thoughts on this, Jeff?
I mean, Coach pretty much took the word right out of what I was going to say, continuity, which is the most important thing you need on a coaching staff, especially a coaching staff still trying to get the feet underneath them. Now you can have those players that were maybe free agents that were fringe on if they were thinking about coming back because they didn't know who the coordinators were going to be. Now that you know that Wink and Mike Kafka will be back, some of those guys that you were like, fringe players might return. You have the same system in place. You don't have to worry about replacing anybody. So you could just keep going. You could just keep going with what you had before, continue to build on it with more talent you get into the system. And Wink Martindale and Mike Kafka could continue to evolve in this New York Giants coaching staff, especially Kafka. He gets another year now to really see what he can do in terms of implementing an offense with more talent on it. So continuity. Coach pretty much said the number one thing of what really it is. Continuity on your coaching staff, which is the best thing for a young team looking to really build on what they did last year.
Especially for a young quarterback like Daniel Jones. People got to remember, man, Daniel Jones is only 25 years old. I think he'll be 26 this year. Him and Saquon are around the same age.
Yeah.
Tommy, what's good, man? Tommy, we are going to get into the basketball too as well, man. We're just going to wrap up this little Super Bowl stuff here, man. But Tommy says, yo, it's crazy. Kyrie, KD gone. Brunson got snubbed, all-star. Bradbury held. Tony scored. Wink Kafka back. Our draft will be undisputed. Let's go. Let's go. What we talking, son? Let's do it, man. You already know, man. Koofman, Seagulls went back to the port of Philly with the rest of the trash.
Damn, Koofman is not holding back. I like it.
Don't
Coach
hold
Dante!
back. Please don't hold back. Coach Dante, what's good, man? Appreciate you, man. Hey, Jeff, how does it feel losing to the New York Knicks?
I know it's the first time I felt it in like 2.5 years.
It is a different feeling. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna lie. There go my man, big fan Breezy in the Brooklyn Nets vlog, man. Breezy, man. I know you probably working, bro, but when you get done, man, be sure to pull up, man. I sent you the link in the Twitter app. Tudo, what's good, Tudo? Massive salutes and respects. Big Boss NYG22, Coach Ed, Levance, Koofman, Jeffy, Coach Dante, and all diehard Giants fans in the building, and FO Eagles losers all day. Forget about it. There you go, man. I love that Eagles cry. My man said he gonna do that do that to the how tune.
Up to the sky.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Oh man. Said okay. Jays, Bradbury, did you get your job helping the Eagles lose the Super Bowl on purpose? Now it's time to come back home where you belong, New York Giants.
I don't want them.
A lot of people don't want them, man. I made a video about that, man. I don't want any of these guys back for real. I will say if it was one that I would take back, it would be Bradbury. Just because he's the most productive and he's at the position of need right now, you know. But I don't want Evan Ingram back. I damn sure don't want Justin Pugh back. And OBJ, I'm torn on, but I'm gonna lean no, man. Just because
he
the
mouthed
injury
off
history.
about the Giants again earlier.
Yeah,
over the
he always
weekend.
does that shit, man.
Yeah.
Y'all funny.
So
Y'all
love and
funny.
respect.
All this stuff.
Phillies lost in the World Series. Phillies Eagles lost in Super Bowl 57, and the Philadelphia 76ers are going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. So let's make it a trifecta.
As Coach Ed would always say,
Philly.
yeah, yes, let's go, yeah. As a Mets and a Giants, as a Mets and a Giants fan, that is beautiful.
Yes. To them much love and respect. Diggo, Eagle. Diggo, we bought one out the woodwork this year.
From NYC.
with the face palm. It was a tough loss. It was a tough loss.
Well. You were watching the
took
game
it well.
with her.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
She's not like one of those dudes that's smashing his TV with a cup.
I seen that, man. I was like,
oh my god, they tipped a car over in somebody's neighborhood
before the game. They knew they was
yo, if that was me, if that was my car, you tipped it over, beat it up, destroyed it literally, and then to lose the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yo.
Right. Man.
Yo.
People are crazy.
Earl, what's good, Earl, man?
What's up,
Shout
Earl?
out to Earl.
Earl, what's up, bro?
Earl,
Make sure y'all follow that man. That man is definitely knows his wrestling, man. He
was at Barclays last night. He was at Barclays Center last night for the Monday Night Raw show.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that Empire State, but I ain't understand that. I didn't understand that at all.
Bro.
She says, yeah, it was tough. At least I ain't flipped no cars over, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, really.
That's fans would be bugging.
Or punch the television.
We've all seen it after you win a championship. We all get it. But before? Really?
Right.
Yo,
before.
that right there is straight arrogant and disrespect.
I don't understand.
Yo, man. But let's get back into it, man. You know what I'm saying? This is fun, man. This is fun. Now, what I will say about Philly, real quick. This changes the outlook a little bit with the Eagles because a lot of people feel like it was their coordinators more than their coach, which is why they were in the Super Bowl. You know how I feel about Nick Sirianni, idiot. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that dude. I don't like his bravado. I don't like his cockiness. I think he acts more like a cheerleader instead of a coach. And maybe that's what some of the Philadelphia Eagles players are looking for, man. But when it comes down to it, you know, you're a leader of men, you know, and I don't feel like Sirianni is that, man. A lot of people feel like they was winning in spite of that dude, you know, and he got his ass whooped by Andy Reid, one of the greatest coaches ever in the Super Bowl, and his warts really showed, man. Not being able to combat the second half adjustments, man, letting the Kansas City Chiefs go up and down the field on you. As far as the outlook for the Giants, I will agree with Coach and Jeffy. The continuity with Jones, with Barkley, with this whole offense, with the coaching. I know they're probably going to turn over a couple coaches, but for the most part, all of the coaches are coming back. That's going to pay huge dividends, especially in your division, which you're looking at possibly, you know, the Eagles, maybe, and even the Cowboys taking a step back. So what are y'all thoughts on the division moving forward and how it looks, man? And like I said, I'm still looking for smoke, man. Anybody want to come up here and talk football, basketball, debates, whatever? Let's go.
It's something interesting that I'm glad you brought that up. Because I tapped into one of those spaces earlier today. Matter of fact, it was Big Cat space.
Yeah, I was on there, man. Shout out to those guys too, man. I know a couple of them watching, man. Mello, Stas, man. They run excellent giant spaces, man. It's the only space I would dare walk into, man, like that, man, because of the respect they show people. But go ahead.
But they were talking, they weren't talking about the division as much as what they talked about is they went through next year's opponents for the Giants. And
Mm-hmm.
it was very interesting to me when they brought light to it. And if you go through the teams, most of those teams, the quarterback situation is very iffy. Now, I will say when they looked at when I thought about the overall, the only two teams that seemed somewhat stable, they have their quarterback next year, are the Cowboys and the Eagles. But
Mm-hmm.
everyone else, you questioned, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, that's not a good look for the oppositions. For us, if we capitalize and we take advantage of it, I mean that's a good thing. So again, about the Yo, wait a minute. I also I thought I caught something where Cliff Berry was trying to catch on to somebody else's staff as a coach. So I was just like, wait a minute. I thought he was going to the Far East and not coming back. Whatever. But yeah, that's funny though. But getting back to my point, in terms of the division, um, if we continue to build and we get the right pieces in and now we have our coaching staff, um, I'm liking our chances. Now, also with the Eagles losing both of their coordinators, that takes away from their continuity. So, I mean,
Yeah, too though. He says me and 19 of
what?
my rugby club teammates went at the Super Bowl. 6 of them got arrested and canned before beating up 26 boys. Losers, but they were all arrested after 6 hours. None of the victims and witnesses showed up. I bet they did show up. They ain't want that smoke. None of the
Yeah.
witnesses. That's some real gangster. You know what, man? When you talking about the witnesses ain't show up.
What's up,
Tudo, man.
Rich?
Oh man. There go another one, man. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man.
Yo, drop the
Seagulls
link.
could got beat by the 49ers. Two bad fifth string QBs can't do it, but Chiefs are beasts with hurt ankle. We will draft trenches, skill position, linebackers. We are going to run the table year 2. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right, man. I will say though, the Giants get these trenches fixed, man, and I agree with you 100%, Tommy. We fix these trenches, look out. I'm not gonna say we're gonna run the table, but look out. This is gonna be a good team.
I will
Um,
say this though too. We need depth. That's the number
yeah.
one thing I want on this roster the most this offseason is depth. We can't go into
Mm-hmm.
the next season with the limited amount of depth we had
Go,
this past
Mitch.
season. So we got to
What's
get
up?
better depth on this team going into
You know what, Jay?
2020.
Coach Dante wants the link.
I'm gonna drop the link right now.
Okay.
Anybody want to come up and talk with the crew?
Well,
Empire
I will
City.
say this. I will say this. Do you think that the Eagles players, a lot of those free agents, might decide to come back on a 1-year deal and try to run it back again to see if they
I
can
don't know
maybe
because
keep
of the
that core together?
coordinators. Because of the coordinators, Jeffy. Because now you getting into different offensive and defensive systems. You're getting into fit,
Man, talk to Eagles
scheme.
fans. They're
No.
celebrating that Gannon is gone. Every single Eagles fans I'm talking to saying that they thought that guy was a
Who are they
hindrance.
replacing him with?
Some one of their positional coaches, I guess. They hated Gannon
So
and his
I
system.
mean,
I don't know
I
about
don't know if that's
Steichen
going.
as much, but Gannon, they're happy he's gone.
I've seen
At least what they're
several,
saying.
which this. I think Mitch. I think you can remember. I said it to you guys a while ago. You guys were talking about what's his name, Lovey Smith. And my question to because one of the things they said is that Gannon plays a little bit too much zone and isn't aggressive and play blitz. And I said, well, Lovey Smith's system is a Tony Dungy's disciple, and they're that Tampa too. They're that too high. They're a zone concept. So doesn't that counter with what Philly fans are asking for? Because if you want aggression, then the Tampa two is not for you. But I will say this based on the personnel they had this year and what I've seen, Tampa 2 is actually the best fit for them. And then you're another year up. Is Slay going to play at this level? We already see Bradbury might be leaving. It may leave Philly, but even if he comes back, he is not which we already knew. He's not a solo 1-on-1. He can bump, he can be aggressive and man to man, but long term, trying to stay down the sideline with a receiver consistently, Bradbury doesn't have that speed. He doesn't have that top end speed to stay with the receiver. So, for me, I would say, okay, I get you with Lovie Smith, the Tampa 2, the 2 high, but then, as a fan base, don't cry when your defense is not being aggressive and blitzing as much as you asked for because you want that coordinator. So
What's good, Coach Dante, man? How you doing,
Coach.
brother, man?
Hey,
Welcome to
what's
the
good,
show.
y'all? What's good, Ed? What's good, Jeff? What's good, man? Thank you for, bringing me on, sir.
Yeah, man, no doubt, man. Appreciate you coming on, man. Love your channel too as well, brother.
Appreciate
Keep
it.
doing your thing, man.
Thank you.
But talk to us, man. What's on your mind, man? What was your thoughts about the game, man? And what you think about the Giants and everybody moving forward?
Well, first of all, I respect everybody, regardless NFC East and NFC, even my division, I don't go back and forth like how y'all do. I don't be doing that. I just let us go back and forth. I just let her talk and stuff like that. But it's an NFC East rival, so I understand why y'all do. But first of all about the game, everybody know how great Patrick Mahomes is. And if you leave the door cracked for him, he's gonna find a way to get through it. This defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles did not show up at all. The 24-yard run, the defensive line was absolutely non-existent. It was several times Patrick Mahomes got out of the pocket. I believe the Eagles secondary, I thought they played as well as they could play. But when your defensive line not getting home, how is the secondary supposed to cover that long up the field? Most of his runs were 10-yard runs, and when the secondary covered really, really well. I thought the fumble hurted them when they got the stop. The fumble hurted them real bad. And that special teams play with Kadarius Toney ran into the 5 that covered that hurt them pretty bad too as well. But the 2 goal line stands. That's just great coaching by Andy Reid. They followed. Andy Reid looked at what the Jaguars did on that following week when they played the Eagles. It was the same route, same concept, and he executed 2 times in a row against that very good Eagles defense. I just thought, Andy Reid outcoached Shane. He outcoached Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon wasn't ready for it, and they played man to man. The Chiefs defense, the Chiefs offense got a lot of motion in it, and that part of the time you have to play zone in that red zone for all of that motion. They weren't definitely ready for the motion at all, and they just got out coached, man. It was just certain points that they got out coached in the game, and those were the 2 points that they got out coached. It was clearly a holding call on James Bradbury. You can see him do it twice. You see him tugging a jersey at the back, and then you see him wrap his arm. That was clear. Regardless if the ball was thrown away, wasn't catchable, it was clearly a holding call. So other than that, Eagles fan wants Jonathan Gannon out. I think most of it was, all of it wasn't on Jonathan Gannon's fault. The secondary played as well as they could. The defensive line, this defensive line that would led the league in sacks, they didn't show up. They just couldn't get the Patrick Mahomes. And you just got to blame. You just got to give credit to the Chiefs offensive line that the way they played, the way they blocked it for Isaiah Pacheco too. That dude is
shout out to Pacheco, man.
Let's go, Pops.
You got to give a Chiefs offensive line that credit for protecting Patrick Mahomes, allowing him to survey the field. Once you get that type of time, no matter how good your defense is, he's gonna figure out a way to get through the crack of that, that door, get to that, knock down that door. So you just got to give credits for the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid out coaching the Eagles coaching staff.
Man, I agree, man. Good stuff, man. I do think that's why I think them losing their coordinators. I don't know, like, what do you see? I'm gonna ask this to Coach Ed too, as well as you, Jeffy. What do y'all see in Nick Sirianni as a coach? Because I don't see it, man. Like you said, I'm glad you made that point. He got thoroughly out coached in that game, and you could put it on the coordinators if you want to, but you're the head coach. At some point, you're supposed to step in if your team is getting beat and change the game plan or whatever. But what do y'all think about Sirianni. I just want y'all's honest opinion because I'm more of the fan, like I say, but just from a coaching standpoint, what do y'all see in Sirianni, man, and why he got out coached so badly with against Andy Reid?
Being out coached, first and foremost, is his first time there. I mean that Andy Reid has been there several times, so he knows he can handle the emotions and the pressure of that game.
Mhm.
I mean, case in point, in the first half, it did look like Philly was on the road to whatever they normally think that they're going to do, but it's always two halves. And the halftime adjustments, it looks like, like Coach Dante said, they got out coached in the second half. Looks like they didn't make any adjustments or prepare to make certain adjustments in the second half because once you go to halftime, teams make the adjustments. You have to be prepared for it. But now it basically says to me you're being arrogant and figuring you can just bully them, throughout the whole game. Yes, what's the famous saying? The bully. What was it? Mike Tyson said, "A bully."
Oh, until you get punched in the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Until you get punched in the mouth. So Kansas City stepped up and they punched him in the mouth, and they didn't adjust. And the team is a reflection of the head coach. So that basically tells me if that team, basically cracked like that, that's on the head coach. Ultimately, it doesn't matter what like you said, it doesn't matter about the coordinators. You can hate the coordinators, you can hate their calling. And I've heard Eagle fans say it, and I'll always say the same thing. Those game plans that are created, they don't go anywhere without the head coach's approval. And the head coach knows what calls are in there based on what situation. He knows it. Now, you may have 3 plays you can choose to whatever. That's fine. But what most fans don't realize, because all the coaches have headsets. A coach may say a coordinator may want to run a certain play, but your head coach say, "No, fuck that. I don't want you to run it. I don't want you to run it." But coach, no, I don't want you to run it. Just take one of the other plays. I don't want you to run it. I've experienced it myself personally. All right. And I can tell you, even if it's a great play, you do well, but whatever the head coach says is what you do. It plain and simple. It's nothing more to say. So when fans blame coordinators, I hear it. I understand they have a level of culpability, but ultimately, like you said, NYG, it's the head coach.
Mhm.
That's who it falls on. That's whose head it falls on. It's the head coach. And when you have issues about defensive not being aggressive and you guys not the team not adjusting, and in the second half, especially in the Super Bowl, your team basically cracks under that pressure. That's all on the head coach and Sirianni. I've heard it. I saw it, especially this weekend. He's a he's arrogant. I mean, you know, that one picture of him and Jalen Hurts sitting right there side by side, and he's trying to point up to the camera, and Hurts is like, "Yo, coach, chill."
Right.
That speaks volumes. I mean, when
Mhm.
your player is trying to calm you down in the sit, it's supposed to be you as the head coach. You are the calming voice. You need to turn around and say to the guys, "Hey guys, chill." You want to be arrogant. You want to be, whatever, showboating, whatever. Before, you know, and I get the physical and being mentally tough, but sometimes you push the envelope too far and it falls off the edge.
Yeah, I agree, man. What's your thoughts on this, Jeff?
Well, I mean, the first thing that we talked about the matchups to nauseum, going to the Super Bowl. The Eagles pretty much had the talent edge all around the roster, except for 2 places I felt. Tight end and quarterback, and I thought the coaching was in the Chiefs' favor. I think it was just literally a tale of two halves. I think the talent on the Eagles was on full display in that first half, where it looked like they were just going to overpower the Chiefs and they were just going to be on their way to a Super Bowl win. It just felt like the talent in the first half was taking over that game. Then, like you guys just mentioned, both you, Dante, and you as well, Coach Ed, a great head coach knows what to do in halftime. He knows how to make the proper adjustments and come out in the second half with a totally new, different type of game concept, the two different kinds of plays, different kind of ways to expose the offense and the defense. And you felt that swing. And the first reason you felt that swing was coming out of the half, and Kansas City just drives right down the field and gets that touchdown immediately. It just felt like that Philadelphia and especially Nick Sirianni were getting too cocky. They were resting on their laurels. They were resting on their talent advantage. And like you guys just said, they got outcoached. They got outplayed. And like we got served a humble pie in the playoffs by the Eagles. Eagles, their fans, their coaching staff, Nick Sirianni, those players, they got served their humble pie at the Super Bowl by a head coach that has been there and he's gotten it done before, a quarterback who, I don't care who you are right now, you don't ever doubt that guy. It doesn't matter if he's playing on one leg, 0 legs, banged up legs, 2 legs, whatever it is. Don't ever doubt the heart and soul, heart of Patrick Mahomes. And also, like Coach Dante said, and he said it brilliantly, how about a hell of a job by that Kansas City Chiefs offensive line too? I mean, Orlando Brown Jr., that dude is going to get paid top level left tackle money. He made Hassan Reddick invisible that game. He made Josh Sweat invisible in that game. He made Brandon Graham invisible. And exactly that entire interior offensive line. We've talked about how we all feel about Creed Humphrey. That dude is a beast at the center position. Tooney did a great job. Trey Smith was good. Even their weakest part of their offensive line, Andrew Wiley, did a good job at right tackle. Sirianni and the Eagles, in my opinion, they got too caught up in the moment, and they didn't actually go out there and try to make the proper adjustments in the game when they felt that swing and that turn going in the game. Because even the offensive line, the Eagles, was starting to get beaten up by that Chiefs defensive line. You saw Chris Jones get in the backfield. You saw Frank Clark, who that guy all of a sudden always becomes a big game player in the playoffs as well when he does nothing in the regular season. It just felt like that the Eagles rested way too much on their laurels, on their talent, on the fact that they're just going to go out there and their offensive and defensive lines are just going to take over the game. Their wide receivers are going to take over, et cetera, et cetera. And both Brown and Smith played well, but the two things that you always got to say when it comes to football games that you always got to give the advantage to, no matter what, besides the trenches, is the head coach and the quarterback. And in the end, a head coach that has had the experience, made the proper adjustments to come out on top, and a quarterback who everybody doubted, nobody was picking, everybody left for dead when going into this game, including myself. He went out there and showed you what a true warrior and a true quarterback can do. Shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs. And Sirianni, this is a lesson for you, and I'm curious to see what the Eagles are going to do this offseason as well, because they got a lot of changes that are going to be happening with this organization, including the fact that they have to replace now their offensive and defensive coordinators, who I honestly think are not ready. I don't think either one of those guys are ready to be a head coach, but we know what happens. When a team makes the Super Bowl, they're going to go right to what the offensive and the defensive coordinators did, and they're going to be the first guys at the top. They're going to be hired as head coaches. I don't believe either one of those guys are ready to be head coaches, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think so either, Jeff. I'm right there with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it, man. I think the Eagles are a very talented team, and talent had a lot to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Them getting to where they were at. You know what I'm saying? But let's change gears a little bit, man.
Hey, I wanted to say one more thing before we change gears.
Go ahead.
I want to go back to the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Philadelphia Eagles had been having a number one defensive line all year. They didn't just the Chiefs didn't do a good job. They were just beating up on the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes. I mean, they were panic cake blocking these guys. Yeah. Hassan Reddick was going on the ground. They were getting whooped on. So again, just got to give credit to that offensive line, man. They would just know they were just blocking them and just keeping them from the quarterback. They were keeping them far away from Patrick Mahomes. And like I said, I thought the Eagles secondary did as good as they could do. I thought they guarded as good as they guard. But when you have Patrick Mahomes surveying the field that much, and enough for the receivers couldn't get open, he's going to find somebody. Eventually, he's going to use his legs, which is he did do, and he's going to find somebody wide open. So the biggest credit is that offensive line. That was the biggest key.
Mhm.
That offensive line just dominated the trenches. They dominated during the run game. They dominated in the passing game. And like I said again, Patrick Mahomes, great as he is, you leave him that much time to look down the field, he's going to either run it, he's going to find somebody, and a receiver supposed to get open. Receiver supposed to get open. And only nowhere in the world secondary can cover for 10 seconds to cover that long. And they got out coached in the red zone. The one missed field goal. Other than that, Kansas City scored every touchdown, scored all their touchdowns except for the missed field goal, and they just got out coached in the red zone. They just got out coached. That's just beautiful play calling by Andy Reid, and Jonathan Gannon had no idea how to defend that motion, and that motion is just to get the defender moving, get those defenders moving, and he did a great job.
See, I'm glad you talked about
too.
that. I'm glad you talked about that, Coach Dante, because that motion and when they're rock rolling the safety with the cornerback. I mean, I get it. The first time, you know what? Tip your hat to them. They had a great play. Tip your hat. You keep it moving. But the second time, it's like, come on, man. And to make it even worse, they prepped you prior to running those plays, each of those plays to score the touchdown. Because what they wanted to see is how are they going to adjust to the motion when they do that to set this up. And that also shows the whole league what you can do and how they try to play their defensive concepts in terms of their coverage in the red zone. Because don't think that teams aren't taking notes. Because if I'm a coach in the NFL, I'm taking notes of that. I'm getting those plays. I'm cutting it up, and I'm putting that into my offensive philosophy, especially. Case in point, New York Football Giants, you need to have something like that in your offensive system, preparing to attack the Eagles in the red zone just for that type of situation. And you test it, you set it up to make sure that they still run it or run something similar. Now, conversely, on the other side, the Eagles, when they ran it and they scored the first touchdown, you should have been adjusted because that tells me you don't. That's all you run in the goal line. You could have easily, when they run that motion, bumped it or played zone or whatever.
Yes, that's all you had to do.
You can even switch sides. Instead of rolling the corner, rolling the safeties, you just switch it. Even if you bump, and then yes, it can set up mismatches, but offensively, you're going to see one thing, think another, and then you're not going to be in that same type of coverage, and you're prepared, and you don't make it easy for them. Because I'm like, how the hell did he get so? And then when I saw what they did, I said, beautiful play concept. Because yes, you start that motion and then stop at the last second. They're rolling. They literally left that cornerback on that side, on the single side, by himself to cover two receivers. And it was no way in hell. And if you also look at it, Kelsey, he ran what I call bend. He started inside and then bent like he was going to the corner. So you had a high low concept also over there. So even if they stayed with it, you were going to have Kelsey in the back corner because that cornerback on that side, I think it was Slay. Slay was.
It was Darius Slay. Yeah, two of them on that side. It was
Mhm.
Slay and Levante Maddox on that side.
So even if they didn't roll all the way over and they stayed, Slay was going to stay short. He has to stay short with Tony, and with Kelsey running that bend. All Mahomes has to do is put it in that back corner, and then guess what? We know Kelsey's going to make that play. So that's why I say it's a great play concept and execution. So, and hopefully we put something like that or have something like that in our playbook to attack them in situations like that.
And Pacheco was such a big time factor in that game too, with his hard running right up the middle, pause, I mean, that dude played such a major factor as well because you could see he was starting to get those. He was starting to go for 4, 5, 6 yards per carry right up the middle because that Kansas City Chiefs offensive line was just like you said, Coach Dante. They were beating up that Eagles defensive line. That all they had, especially when you have a downhill runner like Isaiah Pacheco, you keep pounding the rock, pounding the rock, pounding the rock up the middle. It's going to weaken that defensive line, and you're going to be able to get those chunk runs up the middle, which is going to open up the passing game. So I thought
Yep.
as the second half went on, Pacheco really started to become a major difference in that game. And Coach Ed, you even said it. Pops could be a major X factor in that game. That's exactly what he ended up being in that second half. He was a major factor on why that Chiefs offense really started to move that ball up and down the field in that second half because of his running up the middle.
Yeah, he runs very physically. You see how he runs, and the way he runs. I've been following him for 4 or 5 years. That's always how he's run. That's
Yeah.
always how he has run. And
Yep.
a lot of people in the NFL really didn't see, didn't understand, didn't know for whatever reason, but you don't understand. I say he runs like a combination of Dickerson and Earl Campbell. If you take those two and put them together, that's Pops. I mean, he'll give you the high knees
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, but then he'll put that shoulder right into your chest and bully you, and it also forces or causes defenders to become scared to tackle. I'm
Yep.
just going to be honest. They're scared to tackle. They're always going to want to go low because they don't want to go high with him because he's very physical and he's very strong. And you think, oh, he's a rookie or this or that, but that kid has a heart of a lion. I mean, that kid wants it. I mean, if you understand his backstory, that's what drives him. And as a rookie, I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to seeing his career develop. I mean, to be part of that offense. I mean, as a rookie, he had eight almost 900 yards during the regular
Yep.
season.
900. Yep.
That tells you that they really believe in him, and he's going to become an even greater factor as the years go on. And with Andy Reid and Mahomes and Bieniemy over there, I'm just loving it, bro. That's all I can say. I'm just loving it.
Me too.
Yeah, man. Real, man. Got a little echo. Is that me? Oh, okay. It went away. But yeah, man, check it out, man. Shout out to Pops, man. Coach, man, you've been talking about this guy, man, for a while now, man. Rutgers product, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Rutgers, man. And that's what we love, man. We love to see the local kids do good, man, and come up, man. And what better way to do it than to do it in a big moment, man, in the big game, man. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. I want to give two more shout outs.
Mm-hmm.
Kadarius Toney and James Bradbury. Kadarius Toney made that play. I thought he was playing for the Giants. I was so damn ecstatic, man. I was like, yes, Tony, finally you helped us. Finally, you did something to help this team, man. And that was scoring in the Super Bowl to prevent the Eagles from winning. Bradbury, you did
A big
well,
return
man.
too that he had all the way down the 5-yard line
Yeah,
for
man.
Tony.
Yeah, man. No doubt, man. Bradbury, you did well too. With that whole, sabotaging the Eagles Super Bowl, man. I'm so happy, man. I'm glad that our players were ultimately the deciding factor in that team losing the Super Bowl, man. That is excellent, man. You couldn't have drew it up any better, man. Yeah, man. But
We win.
the comments, Giants could have had a better game. Play calling killed us against the Eagles on top of no room for mistakes. Yeah, man. Play calling, man. But we'll get them back, man. We'll get them back, man. In the trenches, man. KC O-line. See, y'all all talking about the O-line, the D-line, the trenches, man. You know what I'm saying? This is what old unpopular opinion sports had. This is what I challenge some of these guys to come out here, man. These guys is puffing their chests out about the quarterback and all this and all that, man. Just just step up, man. Step up to the plate. I'm streaming on 2 different platforms right now, Facebook and YouTube. So please come on out, man. Come on out, man, and have fun with the fellas, man. Let's talk some real football because I got 2 coaches up here. So let's go. You know what I'm saying?
2 coaches
But
and Jeff.
Yep.
coaches and Jeff and NYG 22, man. You know, the fan. You know what I'm saying? But man, you know, just moving forward, man. I'm pretty happy with looking at this New York Giants team, man. But one area I do have some concern about, man, and this is one of my unpopular opinions. And that's the edge position, man. You know, and I've been getting a little pushback on this one, man, because everybody's don't worry about Azeez Ojulari. I don't have those same good feelings that I had about Azeez after his first season. I know he got banged up. I know he was put a lot of weight on, a lot of muscle that could have affected him. You know, I hear the excuses, man, but to me, this guy's productive. I mean, he's productive when he's on the field. I can't take that away from him, but I want to add to that edge rush room because you got to think about it. We're losing Zimenez. Jahal Wood is also a free agent. They keep talking about this Ellison Smith guy. I don't even know who that is. You know what I'm saying? Jokingly, but I do know he is. But he might as well not be on the team. I never seen him play. In what 2 years now, 3 years almost. So, I need more out of that edge room. I need more pass rush. I need more oomph. I need more guys that can set the edge in the run game. You know what I'm saying? Azeez can be a piece, but what I do not want to do, and this is what I said in the space earlier, I do not want the Giants to go in like they good at that position and not try to add at least some competition for Azeez and Kayvon Thibodeau, man. What do you guys think about that, man? The Giants from an edge rusher standpoint, you know.
Oh, I definitely think they need to add some more edge rushers to that team. I mean, Thibodeau, he was an up and down as well. I mean, he had some really strong moments, but he wasn't exactly lighting it up the entire season. So Thibodeau's still got to show some improvement going to his second year. And Ojulari, I mean, to me, he's turning into the defensive version of Sterling Shepard. Gives you production when he's on the field, but that's the thing. When is he actually going to be on the field? So, I mean, what were the Giants so successful for so many years? And what did Philadelphia and Kansas City and all the good teams have? They keep drafting pass rushers and offensive linemen. And I just talked about it earlier. Depth. I want more depth on this roster, and especially on the lines. I would love to see this team go out there and get some more pass rushers on this team. You develop a rotation. That way you could cut back on Aziz's snaps as much. So he doesn't have to go out there and play a lot more. You could keep him more fresh. Maybe put him out there on some pass rush situations. If you want to go 4D linemen, if you want to go like 2 outside backers, 2 inside defensive linemen, go like a 4 or 5 pass rush concept. So, I mean, I would want to see this team go with more pass rush on that defensive line. I don't want them to just settle because if you're doing that, you're already losing. You're already starting off with a losing concept because we did it twice. We didn't need to draft Matthias Kiwanuka, but we did in 2006. We didn't need to draft Jason Pierre-Paul in 2010, but we did it because we wanted depth. You always need to keep adding. It's like a starting pitching staff in the Major League Baseball. You can never have enough starting pitching. It's like with the offensive line in football. You can never have enough offensive linemen, good ones, and same thing with pass rushers. You can never have enough pass rushers on your defense. I'm sure Coach Dante is probably wishing the same with his Houston Texans. Get as much pass rushers as you can, especially with that defense coming over there. So I think that they definitely need to go out there and add 1, maybe even 2 pass rushers because I don't trust Zimenez. I got to see how Thibodeau is going to continue his development in his second year, including adding some more muscle, adding some more to his frame. Not too much like Ojulari did, but just adding a little bit more, girth to his arsenal, as well as developing some new pass rush moves. And same thing, with Ojulari. He just can't stay healthy throughout a whole season. He's already shown that twice. And the other guys, even Timon Fox, who I'm curious to see how he grows in his second year, I want as much depth as possible in that defensive line. Keep bringing in those guys.
What is your thoughts on this situation, coach? Either coach.
Go ahead, Dante. You got it. Take the lead, bro.
All right, so like Jeff said, we in the same depth. We definitely need some pass rushers, and now that we got D'Amico, we definitely gonna be out there aggressive. But you can never have enough defensive linemen. You can never have enough competition at that position. And Kayvon Thibodeau, highly touted coming out of Oregon, didn't have the year that he expected. And first of all, I want to say something about Sterling Shepard. I think he should consider retirement. Every time he gets hurt, it's a season-ending injury. Every time he gets hurt, so I think he should really think hard and consider retirement. The dude was having a breakout season this year, and unfortunately, a non-contact injury, and those non-contact injuries be the worst injuries to probably have. I didn't see that myself because Arian Foster's career ended on a non-contact injury. But other than that, you can never have enough defensive linemen. I don't care if you got to get one in a draft or in doing this year. And like I say again, a guy that can help the defense. Deron Payne is out there, but you got to figure he's going to want too much money. He's going to want the bag from the Washington football team. But the draft got some very solid defensive linemen. You can just never have enough at no position. You can really have enough at neither position. You want to make sure you get the most competition out of either position just to see what you got on that football field. So defensive lineman is something the Texans heard that, and let's see if the Giants can kind of figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, I'm excuse me, Coach. I'm with you 1,000%, man. When it comes to the trenches, I mean, I love us some big fat sexy guys down in there into that trench warfare, man. I just
yeah
exactly yeah. I mean that's I mean I get great enjoyment, seeing the battles in the trenches and the adjustments. And you're right, you need to have good depth. You need to have good rotation. You can never have enough defensive pass rushers. When the Giants won that Super Bowl back in 07, a lot of it was due to the NASCAR package. The NASCAR package definitely. In the NASCAR, some people forget, was 4 defensive ends that were put on the line. So if you have a defensive end who can bump inside and give pressure right up the middle in the quarterback's face, along with guys coming off of the edge, yes, you're right. And it does so much havoc. It causes so much havoc and helps the back end, because a quarterback sometimes he feels the pressure that sometimes he gets the ball out of his hands too quickly, that you force either a turnover or an incompletion, and it kills a drive. So I agree with you. If you need to add a pass rusher, yes, go ahead and get you a pass rusher to put out there, and to go ahead and help the offense. I mean, help the defense. Now, right now, you guys are talking about Ojolari, and I get it. I'm like this. If we can get one who's going to, force the competition and he becomes a starter and Ojolari comes off the bench, okay, I don't have an issue with that. But it's if you get one later in the round and then he's here to help push him, fine, push it. Push him. Do we need to address the defensive line? Yes. I mean, we have DJ Davison coming back, Nick Williams coming back on the interior. They were doing well, but they got hurt. It just seemed like every time we turned around, it was always, shit, somebody else is getting hurt. So, yes, you need the competition, you need the bodies, and you need guys who are going to be out there consistently, because, the past few years, we played more with what I would call the mash unit. The last, 3 years, it seems like every time we turn around, someone we're losing someone due to a major injury, and then we have to go scratch.
It's like we had Anthony Davis at all our positions this year.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, exactly. So but if with the defensive ends, I mean, if you need a defensive end and he's there, go ahead. Go ahead. I will say this: if he's there and he's rated higher than any other position, then go ahead. If he's equal to a position of need, then I'm sorry, gentlemen, I'm going with position of need in terms of equal rating. That's the only reason why I'm saying that. But as far as 1-on-one, and he's the best player available at his defensive end, you better grab that defensive end, man. You better, because they will eat. They will help your defense eat.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Coach. I think it should go with every position on that team, too. I don't care what your position is. Competition is what makes you better on the football field. And if you got somebody pushing you to potentially take your job or take some of your playing time, I want as much competition on this team as possible. That's what makes your football team that much better. If you can continue to stock up every single guy behind, it doesn't matter who it is. Even Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones, I want people behind them and pushing them just to make them better, just to make them not feel secure and be like, well, I'm Daniel Jones. I'm the starting quarterback. I don't have to, worry about my backup potentially taking my spot, or even Saquon Barkley, same thing. I want as much depth and competition at every single one of those positions in the offensive and defensive line, too. I love to see them have somebody push Evan Neal at the right tackle position if he starts slacking off a little bit, because I got a little concerns about him, too. Not a lot. Not like jumping off the Evan Neal bandwagon or anything, but wouldn't even mind somebody pushing him a little bit at the right tackle position to get him a little straightened. So I want as much depth as possible, and that's what I'm looking for the most this offseason, not just on the defensive and the offensive line, the entire Giants team, because the Eagles had the depth, Cowboys got the depth, Chiefs in a way have some good depth. You need depth on your roster when you have so much injuries, and we know in the NFL it's a war of attrition. You have to have players capable enough to step right in and be able to handle the job. And unfortunately, one of the reasons why we didn't succeed, when we lost some of those key players, we didn't have the depth at certain positions to really match up. So we need to strengthen our depth in the offseason and big time in certain areas, especially on the lines.
No doubt, man. Most definitely. Gonna take a quick 20-second break, man. Play the commercial, man. Play the sponsors, man. This is Wise Consulting Solutions, man. So let's take it away.
Having credit issues? Tired of getting denied for a car, a loan, or a house? Let Wise Consulting Solutions help you improve your scores and get you back on track. Sign up and schedule a free consultation and credit analysis today.
All right, man. Shout out to Wifey for that, man. But we're gonna switch gears here, man, and I gotta do it, man. Y'all might hear me get a little emotional about this one, man. Kevin Durant. First, let me shout out my bookends, man. What's good, bookends tackle? What's good, man? Appreciate you popping in, man.
Hey, bookends.
Shout out
I almost
to
just dropped an
F-bomb,
man. I almost just dropped an F-bomb because you said Kevin Durant. I got a lot to say about those guys. Coach Dante, just be happy you're a Rockets fan right now, and you got to deal with the crap we've had to deal with for 4 years.
Yeah, and the Rockets was part of us getting fleeced, man. But I ain't gonna go into that, man. Kevin Durant. So they traded Kyrie. We covered that last week. Then right after a day later, they got rid of KD. So look, man, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving came to Brooklyn. Got James Harden because they wanted him, and they won one playoff series in 3 years. One, man. And all I heard this whole time, I'm a hooper, man, for life. I grew up in Brooklyn, man. That's all we did. Yo, play ball, man. All I heard was drama, trade rumors, political stuff, and you gave this fan base nothing. We didn't even get a superstar back for you niggas. Excuse my lingo. But I'm going street right now because this is how I feel about these dudes, man. Kevin Durant, for all you talk about how you trying to be the greatest, you a sucker, man. Every team you go to is already built, already made. That Phoenix Suns team already had Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and Ayton. You're going out there to another top team to try to chase a ring. Build something for once, dude. You and LeBron, y'all dudes make me sick, man. This why I be getting on the NBA, man. You guys, you came in, you come in, you take money, you make demands, you want this, you want that, and then when the team gives you your demands, they fire coaches for you, hire coaches, then fire that coach, bring in your buddies, and you do this? You dip out? I mean, nah, man. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling KD or Kyrie Irving and what they did to this Brooklyn Nets team. Now, there is some optimism. I'll get into that later, but let me rant for a minute. You guys definitely are two of the biggest crooks, I mean, out there, because you and then you get Ben Simmons involved in this and acting like it's really going to be a fit. Ben Simmons don't fit with no team or in any lineup because he doesn't do anything well enough to be on the court. And I mean, and to top it all off on that, you guys wanted Steve Nash. You fired Kenny Atkinson, who was a great coach, got him fired, and you bring in Nash, you got tired of him, then wanted him fired. And then KD comes in, I want to get traded. They calm that down, then turn around a couple months later and trade you guys anyway. It's like, this is the biggest disaster and the biggest embarrassment maybe in New York sports history, or one of the biggest embarrassments. I mean, this is embarrassing. 2 top 5 players in the game at the current time that they were playing, arguably. You know, you want to say top 10, cool. KD and Kyrie are up there. And you got nothing from these guys. And you traded away all your picks. You don't even have a future. Now, they recruit some of that back. Good job, Sean Marks. You did something right. But they basically, you ain't going to see that until probably like 2029 when those picks are really going kick in, you know, and you'll start seeing, because by then Phoenix probably got, I don't even think they're going to win. So that was a dumb move anyway. He wanted to go to Phoenix. Cool. Go out there. Good luck in the Western Conference. But they probably got a small window before, you know, those picks will be good money. But still, man, you guys gave us nothing. You complain. Then you turn around, you talk shit to the fan base on your way out. You know, not so much KD, but Kyrie. It's disgusting, man. It's truly disgusting, man. And this is why I'd rather build in the draft. This is why I like what the New York Giants doing, because you don't need loud mouths. You don't need those big personalities, because 9 times out of 10, unless you draft them dudes, you're not going to get your return on investment for what you're paying for these guys to come here and try to save this franchise. Build it from the ground up and do what you was doing at the start before all this bullshit happened, and fix this team and build this team the right way. I'm not happy with Sean Marks. That's another conversation. But right now, he's the GM, man. Don't do nothing stupid. Don't do nothing stupid, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, KD, Kyrie, straight sucker move, man. But I'm good, man. I'm good on it. We moving on, man. You know what I'm saying? Tough L to the Knicks, man. About time the Knicks. Good job, New York Knicks. You beat a team with no stars that you haven't beaten in freaking 9 consecutive times. But gotta give cookies with a you know what I'm saying, with a when they're due. But coach, man, Jeff, let's kick it to Jeff, because I know he got some smoke, man.
I've been a fan of this team since 1993. I've been there since the Derek Coleman and Kenny Anderson era. I've seen the down times with the Nets back in New Jersey. I was too young to see the New York Nets, so I never got a chance to see that team. But I've lived and died with this team. You want to talk about my fandom? I'd probably say the Giants and the Nets right now are like 1A and 1B. I love I love basketball. I played basketball. I grew up watching basketball pretty much like when I was 6, 7 years old. I've seen some shit go down with the Nets over the years. I mean, obviously we know about the famous Billy King idiotic trade he made all the way back in 2012, 2013. And then Sean Marks was like 10 years, 5, 6, 7 years later, hold my beer, Billy. I got something even better than what you just did. So it's like, I mean, I was so overjoyed back in 2019 when I heard we got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I was sitting in my room during the afternoon. I believe I just got home and I heard the news about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and I'm jumping for joy. I'm like, holy shit, we just got Durant and Irving coming to the Brooklyn Nets. When the hell have you ever heard a superstars of that magnitude coming to the Nets? I mean, that was just, and at that moment, I'm like, oh my God, all the years that I've been sitting here with just like being made fun of, nobody cares about us, we're irrelevant, we're just the stepchild of Brooklyn, New York, New Jersey, whatever it is. I'm like, we actually might be a championship team. I'm like, I'm actually going to finally see a championship with my team that I've been dying to see for so long. And I mean, since the beginning. And you know what? Kevin Durant, shut your fucking mouth. The Nets paid you all that money and you sat your ass out the entire first year recovering, and they still paid you all that money. And Kyrie Irving decided not to play in the bubble because he got quote unquote hurt. And they had to let all those young players out there go play. And then we go right to the next season. You get Durant back, you get Irving back. You got Atkinson running the show. And not even like 10, 15, 20 games into the season. Oh, I don't like what the head coach is doing. He's being too hard on us.
Hey,
I don't like
man.
it.
Soft ass dude, bro.
They fire him. They fire Kenny Atkinson. And they hire Steve Nash's dumbass as the head coach. And like a month or two later, this is when the real end started coming. They decided to make the most moronic trade in NBA, and in my opinion, one of the most moronic trades in NBA history. They take all their good young assets, all their draft capital, to trade it away for a goddamn malcontent named James Harden, who has failed numerous times year after year. And there's not one Nets fan, very few true Nets fans, that wanted James Harden. Everybody was dreading that trade. When I first heard about him, I'm like, please, God, don't do it. I'm like praying to Sean Marks, don't do it. Don't trade your future for this goddamn player. And he decided to do it. And then I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe like a little bit of me started thinking, well, now I got 3 of the top, you could argue, 15 players, 10, 15 players in the NBA on my team. Durant, Irving, Harden. I think this was the year where we played against, in the playoffs, we actually won our first round series.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, after we won that first round series, I think it was ironically against Boston.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually going up against Milwaukee. I'm like, holy shit, this might be our chance. And then obviously Harden gets hurt with the hamstring injury. And then Kyrie gets hurt on that fluke play on the ankle. And in typical Nets fashion, I'm not trying to do the woe is me thing. Kevin Durant's foot has to be like centimeters too long. And he has that foot on the line would have sent us to overtime if he didn't have his foot on the line and we ended up losing. I'm sorry, we would have won that game if his foot was a little bit shorter.
Yeah, that would have won it. So it would have been 3.
We ended up losing that game in the Eastern Conference semifinals. And then we go into the year after. I'm sorry, this is going to be a long one, by the way. I'm just letting you guys know because I have a lot to get off my chest with this whole situation. But then we go into the next year. The whole vaccination stuff, still coming back from COVID. While I don't agree with the whole concept, because it was a little fishy with, like, you know, how Mayor Adams was putting together the whole COVID stuff with certain ways. But at the same time, you had the whole stupid vaccination stuff going on. And of course, Kevin Durant gets hurt. Kyrie Irving's invisible because of the mandate. He can't play in New York City. Harden's pretty much the only star out there playing. And then Kyrie Irving is able to play on road games, but not at home games. Obviously, it starts pissing off Harden. Then you start hearing the chirping going on behind the scenes about him not being happy. And then obviously, you know, Harden pretty much no-shows and gives up in that game against Sacramento. And then that's when the Nets pretty much had to force their hands and decide to trade him at the trade deadline. And of all people, we have to get back fucking Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, of all people, who I didn't want. I didn't want Ben Simmons. And then Ben Simmons, to make it worse, and this at the same time, Kevin Durant gets a sprained MCL and misses a month and a half, 2 months of the season. And Ben Simmons, what a wonderful pickup that's been so far. Doesn't even play the rest of the season, and then he says he can't play because he's undergoing back surgery. And he's out for the rest of the season. And we get bitch slapped by the Boston Celtics in the first round and get swept. What a great way to show out in that series. Now we fast forward to this year. Steve Nash, who has not gotten any better as a head coach, still sucks. By the way, what's going on, Breezy? He sucks as a head coach.
What up?
Doesn't even last 9 games in the season. And he gets his ass fired. And thank God we actually have a competent head coach named Jacques Vaughn that knows how to put together an offensive and defensive concept. And then we start rolling. That's the craziest thing about this season. We start rolling as a basketball team. We're winning games. We're on a 12-game winning streak. We're about to catch Boston. We're like 160.
Second in the East. Second in the East. He was second in the East.
Games. And then all of a
I think
sudden,
third. It was third when they traded Kyrie. Yeah.
And then
third in the East.
Then Kevin Durant once again in that Miami Heat game. He gets landed on his leg by Butler, Jimmy Butler. He goes out with injury, and then the wheels completely start falling off. Then Kyrie Irving starts bitching because he didn't get his way. Though I do agree with Kyrie in a way. I think the ownership and the GM did him dirty a little bit. I will say that. But at the same time, you got to try to not let it bother you on the court. You got to realize what's more important right now on the basketball court, especially when your team's winning. Then he decides to go out there and have a bitch move and decides to request a trade when your team is winning. And you decide to get the hell out of there because you don't like what was going on with the ownership. So put it to the side, man. Your team's winning and you're second or third best in the East. And you want to go get traded to Dallas. Or you want to get traded and he ends up going to Dallas. And then Kevin Durant. And I'm sorry for anybody up here that's a Kevin Durant fan. He bitched out on the Giants. He made a bitch move going behind the scenes when Kyrie got traded.
Nets.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Nets.
Yeah, it's the Nets. You said Giants.
Right, on the Nets.
Nets. I want to get traded. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go to Phoenix. Without even saying anything, he bitched out on the team. When you had a chance to pretty much put out your legacy out there and try to see if you could right this team after Kyrie left. Instead, you wanted to
wait until the offseason? Like,
no, he wanted to get the hell out of there because his buddy left. So he bitched out on the team right afterwards, and he got traded to Phoenix. It's the most disgusting thing as a fan. I've never been more disgusted of a fan of any sports teams than what this team did to me for the past 4 years. And you're talking to a diehard Nets fan that has been here since the beginning with this team. I've been here since the beginning with this basketball team. And I've never felt so betrayed. I've never felt so disgusted. I've never been so robbed of anything with my sports teams like these guys did to me as a Nets fan. They absolutely robbed Nets fans, the real Nets fans, of 4 years because of what they did. It's disgusting. It's horrendous. They pretty much took the money and run. They took the money and ran the hell out of here when adversity started to get too much for them. And it really pisses me off.
You've been robbed.
We were robbed. And that's what makes me so mad right now on this whole situation. I'm so mad because my first year as a content creator, I had to talk about this bullshit every single day. Every single day with Kyrie Irving, with Kevin Durant, with James Harden, with Ben Simmons, with whoever it is. Every time it was more about the goddamn drama off the court with this team than it was about the actual team. And it really just made me sick as a fan that I couldn't even actually talk about basketball. I couldn't even try to be optimistic and talk about basketball with this team. It was always some bullshit drama thing coming out with these guys. And thank the fuck on they're gone now. They are. I apologize for dropping so many F and S bombs, but I'm so sick. I'm so sick and tired of what these guys did to me as a fan. I really am.
I'm tired of it too. I'm right there with you.
They stole 4 years. 4 years from me as a fan. And the thing that gets me the most hurt is I fell into the trap of actually believing this team could win a championship. And this is the best chance for us to win a championship. And they made all of us look like fools. They made you look like a fool, NYG. They made you look like a fool, Breezy. They made Adam look like a fool, Hit Squad, myself. They made every single Nets fan out there look like goddamn fools because we booked into the hype. And in the end now, we look like goddamn idiots with egg on our face because we bought into the hype. And all these guys did is give us that hype. And I'm actually like what they're trying to do now with these young players. For me, Ben Simmons, get the hell out of here. You're useless right now.
Gotta go, man.
Sit your ass on the bench. I had to hear Jacques Vaughn trying to go out there a couple of days yesterday, trying to say that Ben Simmons right now, we don't know what the hell to do with him, like how he fits in with the rotation.
You don't fit in no lineup.
Sit his ass down. You can't play.
There's no lineup he fits in. He can't
shoot. You're doing fadeaway shots. You're doing fadeaway shots against a 5'10", 6-foot Jalen Brunson instead of attacking the basket. God damn, have some heart, man. Drive to the basket. Drive to the basket, man. And look at Mitch over here, the cackling little.
I don't want no heart.
Hey, Coach knows how I felt after that trade.
I'm so sick of being played as a fool by his team. And this team did it to me twice. Twice they did it to me. Back in 2012 with the friggin' Billy King trade. And now this. And you said, NYG, to close my statement out, you said that this is one of the biggest disgraces in New York City history. I am saying it is. It is the biggest disgrace in New York sports history. There's not been any time where you have had 3 of the top players in the NBA on your team, and you have gone nowhere but a second-round exit. That, to me, is the biggest disgrace in New York sports history. And I'm going to close it out like that. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, all y'all, go fuck yourselves.
Jeffy, good shit, man.
There
What's
you
good,
go.
Raphael, man? What's good, man? Appreciate you pulling up, man. Welcome to the show, man. My man, big fan Breezy, man, with the Brooklyn Nets vlog, and Mitch Koski, man. What's good with y'all, man? How y'all doing?
I'm doing good. Sixers made me frustrated, but I'll talk about that tomorrow on Pick and Roll.
I'm good, man. It was honestly refreshing to hear Jeff get all that off his chest, to be honest.
I agree with that.
I think he speaks for a lot of Nets fans. But I've calmed down since then. And what I will say is a lot of I look at it from the top down. I look at it from the top down. Joe Tsai was right for hiring Sean Marks, considering his resume of, him being under the Coach Pop tree. Mm-hmm. Sean Marks was wrong for hiring Steve Nash because he was his friend. Jacques Vaughn came in the same year as Steve Nash. At the same year as Sean Marks, and he watched Kenny Atkinson before him. Now, Jacques Vaughn should not have gotten a look at immediately from the Orlando Magic because he was subpar as an Orlando Magic head coach. So I think Jacques Vaughn experience And all of this clout that he was getting as an assistant coach comes from all of the experience he got as an assistant coach. So I think keeping Jacques Vaughn as an assistant coach immediately after he was subpar Orlando Magic head coach, was the right thing to do. So in a nutshell, what I'm doing right now is going over all of the moves that Sean Marks made since he became the GM. Sean Marks was right for drafting, for building the core for, just to kind of fast forward. When he traded Dinwiddie is his first mistake. No. His first mistake was not giving Jarrett Allen the bag and giving it to Joe Harris. Should have gave it to Jarrett Allen, not Joe Harris. Yep. One. The second mistake is blaring, and I've been saying this the entire time on my podcast. Should have made it Dinwiddie's team. Dinwiddie got us out of the mud. He got us out of he made us a playoff team again.
Made us relevant. Yeah.
Right. He was the leader of that. And the significance of Dinwiddie is culture. What I learned about being a vlogger and just following the game, Sean Marks in a press conference said, we need guys that's going to be available. We want to build a culture. The culture was the call for. He dissembled that, and he kept the lesser out of the four in Joe Harris, in my opinion. Now that being said, that's a mistake that he made. I see him trying to clean it up now, but again, what I was saying on my podcast was it's Dinwiddie's team. It's always been Dinwiddie's team. This is karma for Sean Marks not making Dinwiddie the leader of this team back then. I understand that they were the hottest free agents back then, Kyrie Irving and KD, but you were automatically taking in the highest quote unquote clout free agents, but they were both injury prone at the time. KD signed, he sat out a whole year. So my thing is, if KD could sit out a whole year, you should have did the same thing for Dinwiddie. You should have did the same exact thing for Dinwiddie. When he got hurt, instead of giving everything up for James Harden just to get to the second round, you should have kept Dinwiddie. Now, my point is to fast forward to now. Out of those 4 years, the highest ceiling is second round 7 games. That is not hard to reach from what we have on the roster right now. If we got to the second round right now with this roster, I would not be surprised. And the reason why I say that is because with Kyrie and KD, the ceiling was finals, championship. That's what it was supposed to be. We got to the second round, 7th game, and on top of that, we were up 2 games in that series. We were up 2-0. So my point is, listen, how long and how much am I supposed to miss Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant? they great players. I'm not about to come over here and bash them. They're great players, but in my opinion, Josiah and Sean Marks have to consider what it is to do business as an owner and as a GM. Sean Marks is a new GM, and my point is, so y'all understand, I'm not dilly-dallying. You cannot build a culture around a superstar free agent. If you're going to build a culture around a team, you got to do it making a superstar out of your draft pick, or do it through your coach. If you try to build a culture around a free agent who ain't got no loyalty to you, 9 times out of 10, this is my opinion. Not unpopular opinion. Yeah, easy plug. I feel like this. You should not expect loyalty from a free agent that wants the bag. You obviously had to know that Kevin Durant is. They're not how you say necessarily playing to win. They playing to win in life. They want to win the bag, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Kevin Durant got the bag from the Brooklyn Nets. James Harden was shy to signing with us, but still winding up getting the bag because of his relationship with Morey. Kyrie Irving, 9 times out of 10, especially out west, they definitely going to give him the bag. So that being said, Sean Marks' mistake, and I emphasize Sean Marks' mistake and Josiah's mistake was putting stock into a free agent that has proven to have no loyalty. I mean, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, before they became Brooklyn Nets, proved that they weren't loyal. You seen that with Boston. You seen that with Cleveland with Kyrie Irving. You seen that with OKC. Then you could say that with Golden State. This isn't to discredit them as players. They're great players. But when it comes down to loyalty to an organization, that's a different ball game. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I went for it. You know, Kyrie Irving, he grew up as a fan. You see pictures with him as a Nets hat as a little kid, and I fell deep into it, man. I was swimming those waters. I ain't gonna count.
We all got man.
Yeah, we all got on that one.
All right, so yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. So I did buy into Kyrie wanting to, you know, me, Josiah, and Sean Marks, we gonna build this and that, and I bought into it. So what I will say is, that's my hypothesis or whatnot. You build the culture around a draft pick. You make him a superstar, or you build it around the coach. Either one of the two. Trying to build a culture around free agents, no matter how good they are, they don't have loyalty to you. And if they force their way out, what could you do? You can't do shit. You traded Kevin Durant for Mikal Bridges. We couldn't get Ayton out of that. I'm looking at the GM for the Suns like he got to be some fucking stud. I mean, he got to be the smoothest talking, it's the snake by the Mississippi or something, man.
Couldn't even get Booker.
He could sell a ketchup pop to a lady in all white. He could sell water to a well. I mean, this shit is amazing, bro. Like,
we got Ben Simmons left out of KD, Kyrie, and James Harden.
That dude is making $35 million.
All you could get to show for that was Ben freaking Simmons.
I'm trying not to laugh.
That is horrible, yo. I cannot Sean Marks for that.
$35 million to play 13 minutes a game and score 7
That
points.
dude is doodle, yo.
You know, he was complaining. He complaining right now. He had a quote saying, "This Ben Simmons I'm speaking of." He said, "Oh, it's frustrating because of all of the inconsistency." I said, "This." Oh, yo, let me hold my tongue.
Inconsistent as you.
Yeah, you right.
Right of that, you're non-existent, dude. What you mean inconsistent?
Yeah, that's what
you're consistent as being out for games and not being productive on the court.
Mm-hmm. But hold on, I want to ask y'all. I'm asking the panel because I know y'all love reference. Every time I talk to y'all about basketball, y'all find a way to add the Giants in this shit. So I'm asking the panel in a general sense: do y'all believe my theory of building the culture around the coach opposed to building it around a superstar free agent?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. His name's Kenny
You got
Galladay.
to.
Yeah,
what the Sixers do with them?
We have a Ben Simmons on the Giants. We have a guy on the Giants. His name, like NYG just said, Kenny Galladay.
They paid
more
Kenny.
Useless than Ben Simmons.
And
he was more useless than Simmons.
He gave you one touchdown.
Yeah.
Against us. Ironically. Against us.
Yeah.
It was one touchdown though. But to Breezy's point, that's the same thing why the Giants are looking now to build through the draft and do this thing the right way, because they did that with Dave Gettleman and Jerry Reese. They tried to sign these free agents and it ain't work out. You know what I'm saying? We talking about Patrick Omame, Nate Solder, like some of the most horrible free agents, Jonathan Stewart. Like they tried to build this thing through free agency. Jerry Reese tried it, failed. He got one playoff appearance out of it in 2016. Dave Gettleman didn't get anything. So both of them tried to do it the same way. And like you said, Breezy, I'm glad you brought that up. Free agents don't have no loyalty. They don't have no loyalty. It's something in sports for somebody, for you saying, look, you gave me the opportunity to play in this league. You know what I'm saying? I have some type of loyalty, some type of alliance with you. It's just like somebody that gives you a job for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. You got some type of loyalty or some type of admiration for that company all that team in particular, man. But when you're a free agent, you like you said, you coming in to get paid. You don't care about nothing else. So your work ethic a lot of times is not going to be as hard,
Chris,
and
word.
you know what I'm saying? And you don't have no loyalty. So first time things go bad, guess what? You crying to get out the door.
Yeah.
Word.
All them free agents do that. Every time something go wrong, they start crying. You don't never hear no crying from Cam Thomas, from Dayron Sharp, from even from Harris and some of these other players, man. Why?
Nicholas Claxton, no.
Because they are Nets.
Yeah.
They're not hired assassins. You know what I'm saying? That's why I
Mhm.
posted that thing on Twitter. This guy shows up when things are already built. We need to build something first before you
Yeah.
bring in guys like Kevin Durant to come and tear everything up, man. Get the...
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
them with his
Can I
team, man.
interject?
Go ahead.
Oh, yo, what
interject?
up, coach? What up, coach?
Go ahead, coach.
What's up, bro? How are you, man? Well, sorry. Right now I'm pissed the fuck off. I just
At what?
Jeff Rutgers lost at home to Nebraska by 10 fucking points.
Oh.
Nebraska. This is a 3-game losing streak now. But that's
it's like the pattern the football team did.
I would love for you to do a play-by-play. That would be really cool.
Okay,
shout out
now
to
you
Levance too. Syracuse won. He posted out earlier, man.
Congrats,
Always keeping
man.
us up on the scores, man.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead, coach.
Levance.
Now, the Coach Dante can attribute to this show the fact of culture, building a culture. And I'm going to keep that part that Breezy's asking about strictly to on the field, court, playing basically there, because there's also organizational culture, which actually is ownership. Honestly, the overall culture of
Phone
any
or
I'm sorry.
no, it was my phone. My fault. I was listening.
Oh. Overall culture actually starts with ownership. But when let's take that out of the equation, it's not even about the players. It's the head coach. I get what Breezy's saying about free agents and your own players. The culture starts there. They are a reflection of the coaches, the head coach, managers in baseball, so on and so forth. So that's where it starts. And for you guys, like you said, firing Kenny Atkinson, who was actually instilling the culture when he got flack from the superstars coming in. Yes, that basically said to the management said the players are the one in charge, not the coaches. And when you do that, yes, you cause so much drama, so much problems in that regard. But if you instill your culture the right way, if you want it done right, it starts with the head coach. The players do have to buy in, they have to be aligned with it. A good head coach does have to understand how to connect with his players. If I'm not mistaken, Kenny Atkinson that was his first time coaching as a head coach, and
Yes.
he's never had superstars to coach in that aspect, because then it becomes honestly psychological, and that's what it boils down to. You got to figure out a way psychologically to get them to buy in, because they will then take your culture and make sure everyone else is following suit. But when they don't buy in, yeah, that's where you have a lot of problem. And when management picks the side of the players, and I get it, players are the ones out on the field, they're out on the court, they're the ones performing and all this and that. But your coaches are the one that gives you a lot. They really do. And if you want to have good culture, I mean, for my Knicks, as much as I kill, cry, scream about Fire Tibbs, I do have to admit that team is that culture is a reflection of Thibodeau. You can't say it's not. No one can say it's not. Even bringing in Brunson fit the culture that they
Dude's a
instilled.
beast, man. He's a good player,
Yes.
man. Dude's nice.
And it was a smart move bringing him in, because he knows Thibodeau. he's aligned with Thibodeau. He fits with him. I cry about Julius Randle, but Randle fits his culture. Everything that you look at the Knicks, a lot of the key players fit into Thibodeau's culture, which what I was alluding to earlier, culture starts with the head coach. If you put your culture around a player, you're destined to fail. I don't care if you draft him and you build him up. You're destined to fail. And the last thing about loyalty, I'm sorry, it's professional sports. There is no loyalty with no one. I don't care if you draft them. There is no loyalty the way you guys are saying. Should we have loyalty? Yeah, I get it. But understand, plain and simple, it's business. When you cry loyalty, you're fooling yourself because these players are about their money. Whatever they can do, whatever they can get, they're about their money. And if they can't get their money, they're going to go somewhere that they can get their money. Yes, if they want to play with their friends and their boys and all this and that, yeah, that's true. But in the end, it's about that money first. Because when your playing days are done, when it's all and you're dealing with all the aches, the pains, you have your family, your wives on your back, mom and dad who you bought houses for and all this and that, and everybody's coming at you. It's about that money. It ain't about loyalty. I'm sorry. It's not. Y'all can say that all you want. It's not about loyalty. Don't ever bring that into the equation. It's a business, and that players want to get paid, coaches want to get paid, general managers want to get paid, presidents of the organization want to get paid. It's business. If you take that out of your thought process, you're going to take away a lot of your stress. Coach Dante, step in, bro.
Coach.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's up, Breezy?
No. I don't want to cut nobody. I'm gonna say what I gotta say after he go.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
I wanted to say I agree with Coach. I think you should start it with the I don't really got no pushback to what he said. I agree with the starting it with the coach because the coach sets the tone, and you I think players are more easily connected to bond with the coach opposed to connected with a GM or a owner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when I said loyalty, what I mean is sometime it work in a sense where you got to be loyal to the player from the ball club to the organization. You got the Milwaukee organization, Milwaukee Bucks. They were loyal to Giannis, loyal to making it work. Giannis and Middleton were together for 9, 10 seasons before they got a championship. You think Akeem Olajuwon? Akeem Olajuwon was a 8-year pro before he got a championship. You have I agree with Coach. The ball club has to show loyalty to the player to an extent. You have to build these relationships. You can't treat them like the Nets treated Dinwiddie. Imagine you get this team out the mud, and then they just trade you. I think Dinwiddie got mixed feelings.
You gotta look at Devin Booker.
I get where you're going, Breezy. I do. I feel you in that regard, yes, but I'm looking at the totality of everything because you're talking about a few different players who, deserve that type of loyalty and that type of respect. Yes. But overall, look at the big picture. No matter what, it's still a business. Should they? Yes, I agree with you. Like you just said, they should have respected Dinwiddie and that. But players, coaches, they're all pawns in the game. Period. Case closed. And that's why sometimes if certain players, your favorite player gets traded away, it'll hurt. But are you a fan of the player or are you a fan of the team? And if it's a fan of the team, I'm gonna rock with my team. I may not agree with the decision, I'm gonna speak my piece on it, but in the end, I'm gonna let it go after a while because you know what? It's not about the player per se. It's about the team. Now, and that's me separating every aspect of of the team concept. Because everything has to be put together. But realistically, players, coaches, everything, they're all pawns. They're all separate pieces. They can come and go. It doesn't matter. And I mean, case in point, I'll say this in closing. Okay, I'm a fan of Melo. I'm a fan of LeBron. I've been fans of them since they were in high school. And whatever team they go to, I'm still going to root for them, just not when they're playing the Knicks. Because when you're playing the Knicks, you're on the other side. But when the games is done, yeah, I'm gonna root for you. I want to see you do well. I want LeBron to score all the points. Melo, do da 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 da, whatever. So yeah, I have my favorite players I root for, but my team comes first before any players.
Yep,
Great.
I agree with that. And I've known people who are just fans of certain players that don't do the research, that don't know their game, that don't do anything except for root for that player because of their appearance. And I'm like, that's ruining the game. That is ruining the game, in my opinion. Because how they look and you want to root for them, okay, but you're not doing the research. You can be a fan, I don't care. Just know the game.
Thing about it too
No, I'm with
is
you. I'm with you.
the thing about it too is a lot of players they have this sense of, especially in the NBA, of sort of like entitlement, like
Yeah.
basically running. They're controlling what they want to do, where they want to go, so on and so forth. So
Mm-hmm.
to your point, coach, when a
Mhm.
player has that type of power and empowerment, it does make things a little a little murky, man, because it's like, hey, what was the Nets supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? And I said this on Breezy's show as well as Jeffy. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with that. I think, look, if I hire you to do a job, I expect you to do your job. You know what I'm saying? And I don't expect you to midway through the job saying, nah, you know what? I quit. I don't feel like doing. Nah, I paid you. I gave you a contract to fix my house.
Then
You're
then
gonna
why did the Net- why did wait a minute? If that's the case, then why trade him? I mean, I get what you're
That's
saying,
my
and
point. That's my point. But these players have so much empowerment that they can really ruin what Breezy's talking about, the culture of your franchise.
okay, yes,
it 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 hurts you. It's almost like addition by subtraction in a sense. But
yeah.
look at how much money you lose. Look at how much the tickets are going to go down. Sales are going to go down. This is when you're talking about business, because I'm into business.
Mm-hmm.
It's multi-layered. You know what I'm saying? So losing
Mm-hmm.
KD and Kyrie is just
Just
not
destroyed the
bad
Nets.
from a basketball standpoint. It's bad from a business standpoint. And when you let players come in like that and empower themselves and do you dirty like that, then yeah, at some point you got to say enough is enough. I thought that's what they was doing when
And
he made that trade in the beginning. And I see what you're saying, coach, and I'm all for player empowerment and everybody getting their bag. But at some point, lines got to be drawn, man, because this is a business. And if you're going to treat
Yes.
it like a business, I got to
Yeah.
treat it like a business too.
And MRG, real quickly
See what
too,
I'm
we had
saying?
a nationally televised game going on tomorrow against the Miami Heat. They got rid of it because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving aren't there anymore, and just like that,
Mhm.
you're starting to see
That's
the
why we
Nets get
couldn't.
impacted.
That's why we didn't get a Christmas game
And I kind of
because of
want
that.
Okay. And I
Go
get you
ahead.
guys now.
Let
Oh yeah,
Dante get in here.
Dante. I'm sorry.
all right.
I'll talk.
So again, you look at why Giannis still was loyal. You look at what the organization them did for him. They went out and got a Drew Holiday. They went out and got a Bobby Portis for him. So
Middleton too.
Chris Middleton. If Chris Middleton was on the court, that's a borderline all-star. So that's how they enticed Giannis to stay. And he looked at that and said, yes, we got the team to do it. What happened? They beat the Phoenix Suns. You look at Keem Olajuwon. They got Vernon Maxwell. They had went out and got Clyde Drexler for them. So most of those guys,
The Lakers, they went out and got Paul Gasol for Kobe Bryant.
Paul Gasol for Kobe Bryant when Kobe Bryant was about to get the hell up out of there. What they do, they went around, they got Paul Gasol, who was a 20 points per game scorer, who's a top 5 big man at his position. So a lot of those changes, the organization did it. The organization did it for them and enticed them to stay. So when you look at the Brooklyn Nets and how this all fell down, James Harden never wanted to be in Brooklyn anyway. And the day one that he got, the moment that he got traded to Philadelphia, he came out in the press conference and said, I never wanted to be in Brooklyn anyway. I wanted to be in Philadelphia. The only reason he didn't end up in Philadelphia because Raphael Stone didn't want to trade him straight to Philadelphia because he knew the relationship of him and Daryl Morey. And James Harden has a tendencies being a headache, getting whatever he wants to do. And the bigger the moment, the bigger the moment, the more he quits, the more he gives up on the squad. That's my experience of him being in.
Now I just got more mad.
And again, I mean, like I say, Kyrie Irving not playing. That took a toll up on the squad. Steve Nash has never been a head coach anyway. Not with this big old, not with these big old guys in the locker room. Not with these guys in the locker room. I feel like he should have been more of a head coach of a younger team than coming in and have to manage these veterans right away, knowing with Kyrie Irving not wanting to play because of the pandemic and in the bubble, Kevin Durant getting hurt, and stuff like that. So I'll say again, yes, the superstars got power, but at the same time, like Coach Ed said, it's a business. You don't gotta trade them. You don't gotta rush and trade the guys just because they want to come out and say, "Hey, I'm not feeling this. I don't want to be here." You ain't gotta rush. You can hold on to them as long as you want to. At the end of the day, you find the best deal. You find what the best deal that's going to help your team in the long run. You don't have to rush to trade them just because, they want. The only reason the Rockets rushed to trade, they didn't rush to trade James Harden because he was being a headache. Now, if they've been a headache in the locker room or something, or blasting the team, so on, then that's when you try to hurry up and get rid of. But you don't get rid of a player right then and there because of he's asking out. You just figure out a way to hold on to him. You hold on to him as long as you want. But
that's what the Sixers did with Ben Simmons. That is exactly what they did. They had him sit there, wait for the right time, and what do you know? Trading them to you guys. But both teams lost the trade, and I'm going to tell you why. Curry, Drummond. Now, when you look at our bench right now, the Sixers bench, our best player off the bench is Maxey, Jalen McDaniels, and then we just picked up Dwayne Dedman from the buyout market. And I'm like, yeah, this bench sucks. And people are telling me that Maxey should start. And I'm like, yeah, if he starts, the backcourt defense sucks with Harden and Maxey. Or when we put D'Anthony Young there next to Harden, the defense is great. So it's like, yeah, our bench sucks. Except for Maxey, Jalen McDaniel.
That's what makes me so mad about why the Nets did what they did a couple of years ago. You traded for a player that did not even want to be.
He didn't want to be in Brooklyn.
He did not even want to be in Brooklyn. He wanted to be a Philadelphia 76er.
In the Brooklyn,
and still trade all your draft picks and all your young assets for a player that didn't even want to be in Brooklyn. I mean, that's insanity. I mean, that's just pure stupidity by Sean Mark.
I'm with you, Jeff. That's insanity. That's bad. Yeah. That's bad business.
That's Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving demanding that they want their boy there with them
player
in Brooklyn.
Empowerment.
And that's also, James Harden saying, "Hey, I just want to get the hell up out of Houston. That's all." So he said, "Fuck you, just trade me." And the Rockets definitely did that, but he didn't want to be in Brooklyn. He didn't want to be in Brooklyn. That's why he wasn't in Philadelphia right away, because Raphael Stone did not want to do it. Trade him to Philadelphia because he knew Daryl Morey knew his relationship with him. So he said, "Okay, we'll trade you. Go ahead, trade you to Brooklyn." But he did not want. It was clearly he did not want to be in Brooklyn. It was clearly that he did not want to be there. That wasn't even his first option to even go to Brooklyn.
I want to ask Breezy real quickly. Breezy, how did you feel when that trade went down? Because I know NYG hated it. I hated it. How did you feel when? Did you want him? Did you want Harden? Or you were like?
No, I was against it because I was a fan of Call 4. I was the first one coining. In my opinion, I was the first one coining the term Call 4 with Karras, Harris, Dinwiddie, and Jared Allen. And Dinwiddie led the charge. I felt that the Harden trade was because Nash couldn't coach. And I feel like Joe Tsai and Sean Marks tried to microwave a championship, and it did not work. Period. You cannot microwave a championship in this league because even if you got the talent, you need the chemistry. And the point I was making about Akeem Olajuwon, Middleton, and Giannis is chemistry that you get from experience of having the same teammates for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons.
Excellent point.
Boston and Golden State.
Excellent point.
Why are they always good? Because they have chemistry and they played with one another for years.
Right.
Clay
So
Thompson,
yeah,
and Curry, them, they were
yeah,
all drafted together.
And
Draymond
Clay
Green,
Yeah.
they were
Thompson,
drafted
Draymond
together.
Green,
They were
and
drafted together. Yeah.
Seth Curry played together.
Mhm.
Same thing with the Celtics. Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, they've all played with one another on the same team for years. They developed that
And
chemistry. Homegrown.
it takes a certain type of player, in my opinion, unpopular as it may be, to play in New York City,
Yes.
in this area.
Mhm.
You know, we do this show every week, man. We talk about it all the time. Everybody's not made for this.
Yeah.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying? And putting a spotlight on guys with big egos, pause, like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving is going to be an issue. You need guys like Jalen Brunson, like Dinwiddie. You need blue collar dudes that just want to go out there and just let me just play ball. I don't need the political stuff. I'm not going to cry and ask for a trade every time I don't get my way, or you know what I'm saying, I step in some shit or something. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go out there and play freaking basketball. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need here. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no more of them ego dudes in New York.
No.
On the Giants, on the Nets, on the Knicks, on the Yankees, on the Mets. I don't want none of them dudes over here because I'm sick of them.
Me
Well,
too.
we-
Get ego and get the hell out of New York, man.
And I respect one guy I give a lot of respect to on the Mets who got destroyed for years because of how he played after he was signed to a big or he's traded to the Mets. Edwin Diaz was the punching bag of the New York Mets for years because he was ineffective. He couldn't play. People thought he couldn't handle New York. And all that guy did last year was he went out there and had a huge season for the Mets as their closer. And
you
he ended
can
up
have
getting the bag.
dudes like that on your team, but those dudes can't run your team.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
You need your core guys.
Good culture in order to handle like we got Kayvon Thibodeau. Thibodeau,
Daniel Jones,
a boisterous
Saquon Barkley.
player.
There you go.
But you know what I'm saying? KT, let him do his thing. But you got Brian Dable, you got Wink Martindale, you got such a strong locker room that you can deal with guys like that. You know. But when those are the guys that's supposed to be leading the charge, it's disastrous automatically. You see it. It's not going to work. That's why
I just wanna add to Coach point. When you watch The Last Dance and they talk about how Phil Jackson used to handle Rodman, Jordan, and Pippen, and you know, just even being the mediator between Pippen and the front office and Sloan and Pippen wanting the contract, there's a lot of things that don't go on the stat sheet that coaches do, and the Zen Phil Jackson is a great example of that. And I just think that the documentary, The Last Dance, kind of lays it out in front of you to say, okay, I didn't know this and I didn't know that. Oh, I see how essential Phil Jackson was. I see why they call him the Zen master. But case in point is to agree with the coach. Like I said, it starts with the coach. You want to build a culture. Look at the Giants. Didn't he just get the Coach of the Year award? And y'all went to the playoffs, right? So, in your opinion, do y'all consider the success of the Giants to the coach?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. How they got done.
Another team.
Trevor, plain example, how Trevor Lawrence, kind of did this year from last year when they had Urban Meyer, who clearly was on the NFL level, who clearly was more on the college level. But look at Jacksonville this year. I mean, they got the right coach there. Now everything changed. They got some of those guys up out of the locker room who didn't want to be there. And now look at the culture change over there with Doug Peterson.
Look at the Golden State Warriors as an example, too. We all know the ego that Draymond Green has got over there and how many times that guy has probably wanted out of Golden State for years. And I got to give credit to Steve Kerr. He might not be your cup of tea as a head coach, but I mean, you got to give credit to a guy that's still been able to keep those three players, especially between Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay
Draymond
Thompson.
Green is a headache. You could tell that.
Hey, Draymond Green is a headache himself. He ran
they kept those three in line.
You mean to tell me this dude pissed off Kevin Durant on his own self? He cussed Kevin Durant out and pissed him off and got him in line on his own self. So I like with Draymond Green. Yes, he acts the way he acts. He can be a headache, but I like the way how he calls out the team when they're not doing well. I like the way he leads by example on that floor in that locker room. He's not going to allow nobody to come in there and think they're higher than the team like Kevin Durant was, and he straight up told Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant didn't like it. And he ended up running to the Brooklyn Nets. That's the type of guy I like, along with the coach. That Draymond Green, you also need it on that court, on that field. You also always need that emotional leader that's going to get the locker room together as well.
And it's no surprise that Golden State too. Oh, I'm sorry, Coach.
No, I was just going to say, to add to that, that goes back to what I was saying about the psychological aspect. Because when you have a player, Draymond is basically taking what Kerr wants,
yes,
and enforcing it in the locker room, and it's just psychological. It is. It's like you said. If you don't like it, you know what? Then you can kick rocks. Because the rest of us are with the team. Alluding to what Breeze was talking about earlier with loyalty, starting with the coaches. Funneling it down to the players, and then the players buying in, and then enforcing it to other guys who come in, because that's where your culture is. And then everything else falls off of that culture, the loyalty, so on and so forth. I talked about business earlier. Then it makes it all easier. But to what Coach Dante was saying about Draymond just took what Kerr wants, and then Durant coming in the door. You're a top player. Yes, you are. But you know what? This is the way it is. You either follow suit or you kick rocks. Go ahead, Jeff.
It's no reason, and it's obviously, as long as those three guys are in Golden State, I'm never counting out that basketball team. And it's no coincidence that when Klay Thompson got right, when Steph Curry came back from injury, and when Draymond was healthy, that team went on the run that they did. And what did they do? They had those three long-time, homegrown, drafted core. All of them might be like, potential Hall of Fame players, every single one of them, and they're going to have their jerseys in the rafters. But you built around those three guys with a Poole, with a Wiggins who they traded for. You had other guys that you drafted or signed, Iguodala, a Moody, a Looney, a Kuminga, all these other guys you added around those three core players. And it's no coincidence that Golden State was right back to their championship ways when they had those three guys healthy, because they're so well respected in that locker room. You want to know anything about Golden State, you got to go through number 11, number 30, and number 23. That's the heart and soul of that Warriors team. And Boston has the same thing. Same thing over there. It's no coincidence why those two teams, in my opinion, are still two of the teams to beat in the NBA, because they drafted homegrown core players that played together on the same team for a very long time, and then you supplement pieces around them. And that's what I would love to see the Nets, and for Coach, for the Knicks, for Dante, for the Rockets, for Mitch, for the Sixers. You want to have your homegrown core players make up your team, your core of your team, and then you supplement pieces on the outside. It's what's the best thing for sports. The Mets have that with Alonso, with Nimmo, with McNeil. The Yankees have Judge, obviously. The Astros, we know what the Astros got. They're like a factory of young players coming up from the minor leagues. Phillies have some of them as well.
Don't remind me.
I
know you're an Astros fan, Dante.
Yo, maybe go get that jersey and that shirt from out there. Maybe go get that.
Oh boy, here we go. Clank, clank, clank.
I ain't
I'm gonna go with you, bro. Go ahead.
But you need that as like the real. That's how you win in sports. You need to have your drafted, homegrown core players that become the leaders on your team, and you supplement free agents, trades, all that kind of stuff around your core. That's why Golden State wins. That's why Houston wins. That's why the Yankees at the time were winning, because they had their core players that they brought up from the farm system, that they drafted in the draft, and they supplemented all those pieces around. You rarely ever see a team go out there and buy a championship. The Rams did it somehow, but most of the time you have those teams that you have drafted as your core, and that's how you win. And that's what I love to see the Nets do. That's what the Giants are doing.
Let's spin this thing forward, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's put a little positive energy in the air. So getting over all everything we just talked about, looking at this team moving forward, there is some positives. I do like Bridges. I think he's a solid piece moving forward. Him and Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, Nicholas Claxton. That's a good solid little core that you can develop and see what you got. You know what I'm saying? The Nets got their draft pick back, back in order. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take a little bit to catch up, but they were able to recruit a lot of those picks that they lost. You know what I'm saying? Even flipping Jay Crowder for 5 seconds was good work right there. I ain't gonna front. And just looking at this team moving forward, you know what I'm saying? The one thing though is Simmons. You know what I'm saying? That's the outlet. If they can figure out a way to get off that contract somehow, a buyout or something with somebody, I think this team will be in good shape moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Because I do like the young talent that they got. They got Dinwiddie, they got Harris, they got some nice shooters. You know what I'm saying? Rebounding still needs to get better. But I like Day'Ron Sharp getting in there, getting some more minutes, man. You know what I'm saying? Finney Smith is not a bad player. He's a good rotation player, good player. So they have a decent team. And looking at the Eastern Conference, man, yeah, this team can still compete while the rebuild is taking place. You know what I'm saying? I do not feel like this team should be a dumpster fire. After all you done went through, at least go out there and try to win some damn games. You know what I'm saying? We know you ain't gonna probably beat Boston or Milwaukee or none of the top teams. That dream is dead. But you can compete with the Knicks. I know they lost, but hey, look, they was bound to beat us one day or another. You can still compete against them. You can compete against Miami. You can compete against the Hawks, the Pacers, the Wizards, some of the lesser teams in the East, man. And you should be within striking distance to get into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as long as they don't go below 6, I mean they'll be right there. So I do think that there is some optimism moving forward with this squad. I know it's not what we want to hear or what we wanted and what we vision that we have for this team. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to take some years to get everything back right. It's not going to be a quick fix turnaround, man. Even though they tore it down very quickly, it's not gonna get back normal the way it was, man. But a lot of the pieces that they got in the trade, I do like. And they just got to do it the right way this time. Draft, stock your talent, stock your draft picks, man. Build this roster up around, Cam Thomas and Claxton and Mikel and see what you got, man. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something shakes loose in a couple years, you know what I mean? And maybe you can get a player to supplement and put you over the top, not to build around, but to put you over the top. You know what I'm saying? And that's my optimistic side for this Brooklyn Nets team. But what are you guys seeing? How you feeling about the trade? And I'm gonna get you guys' thoughts on your squads too, Dante and Mitch. But let's let my New York guys go around the room real quick. Go ahead.
Well, I think personally, I mean, I like the trade. I mean, I've been a fan of Mikal Bridges, and the fact that a team, Memphis Grizzlies, offered 4 first-round picks for him obviously speaks in volumes of what him and the league think of Mikal Bridges as a player. I just think that, I don't know. I hope he's able to develop into a really good player. I mean, you have to wonder if his stats were maybe a little inflated because he had, DeAndre Ayton and he had Devin Booker and other superstars there, that he really, wasn't getting as much of the attention on the court as
they're going to be offensively challenged. This team's going to be offensively challenged. We know that. You lost 2 of the best scorers in the NBA. You're going to have problems scoring, but they can be elite defensively if they get it together and just start to gel. I think the size and the speed that these guys got, man, they can be elite. The wingspan, these guys can be elite defensively, man, but they're going to struggle to score points.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because the Philadelphia 76ers game was the perfect example where the length of the Brooklyn Nets team they had out there with Dinwiddie, with Johnson, with Bridges, Finney Smith, and Claxton really frustrated that Sixers team for most of that game. And the only reason why they lost that game is because they just didn't have anybody that could
can't
make a shot
close.
towards the end. They couldn't close. They didn't have a closer
They don't
guy.
have a closer.
You-
They still don't have one.
We got
hold on.
lucky on that half court shot. We got
Hold on.
lucky.
Hold on, I want to say this because this is where I watch this shit play by play, and again on the stats. When you look at the stats, when I'm vlogging, they got a spot on it called play by play, and we went on a 5-minute drought with that roster. Now, mind you, this same roster held the Sixers in 3 quarters, 20 points, 20 plus points. We played great defense. That's what I'm getting at. But when we went on that 5-minute scoring drought, Cam Thomas was on the bench. Now, what I'm saying is, you could take Royce O'Neal out. Yeah, sub his ass out. You know what I mean? He's
I'm honestly surprised
I
Royce is
think
still
Cam
on this
should
team.
start. I
Breezy.
think he should
I'm
start.
honestly surprised that Seth Curry's still on the team. I would have traded him at the trade deadline.
I thought they
We
would have
too many
flipped
wings.
Royce, or one of them dudes.
We have still too many wings on this team. We're still stocked way too much at the wing. Should have traded Mills, or should have traded Harris, or should have traded Curry.
What value do they have in the league, though?
Curry still got some value for a team that's
Curry
looking for a
does.
shooter.
Joe Harris and
He's an
Ben Simmons don't
expiring
have no
contract.
value.
Yeah, Curry's an expiring contract after the season, so you could trade
Okay,
him to a
yeah,
team that's
expiring
looking for a
contract.
shooter.
Yeah.
I just want to lay in the plane saying this is Jacques Vaughn's mistake was the same thing that Sean Mark's mistake was, is giving I guess the upper hand to the new guys. Ed Sumner was the one in the mud getting it with you when KD was hurt, when
Yeah, I don't
Kyrie
get
wasn't
that.
there. Ed Sumner, Wasabi Watanabe, and Cam Thomas deserve minutes over those guys, because if you keep that same starting lineup you got, but the first substitution for Dinwiddie is Ed Sumner, not even Cam Thomas, but Ed Sumner, and then you put in Cam Thomas for a Finney Smith or whoever, or if it's like that and we really, restarting what we did, start Joe Harris if you got some balls. Put Dinwiddie at 1, put Joe Harris at 2, and just surround the next 3 guys is all defense with Mikal Bridges, Finney Smith, and Nick Claxton. So what I'm saying is, Jacques Vaughn has to mix up this roster rotation to see what works, because having all defense and then going on 5-minute scoring droughts is not going to win this game. When you look at our scoring total, we struggling to get to 100 or a little past 100. We averaging like 110 points like that. We need more. And I think that more comes from Cam Thomas. They got to make him the number. In my opinion, you make Spencer Dinwiddie and Cam Thomas is a number 1 or 2 option. It interchanges, in my opinion. And then the number 3 option, a close number 3, is a Mikal Bridges. But you don't give a guy who comes from another team more rec than the guys that was putting in work before they got here. You can't do that, man. It messes up the locker room.
I agree with Breezy. I don't understand why they just, the last couple of games, they didn't want to play Cam Thomas at all when you're pretty much lacking in scoring. And I mean, he's the one guy that can go out there and create his own shot and be able to drive to the basket and draw fouls and get to the foul line.
Him more than
we
ever
need him to play
right
more.
now.
They need him to play more offensively.
To counter Breezy's point, and I get where you're coming from, but it's like with my Knicks, all right? They just brought in Josh Hart. And who's the one that's in a sense being pushed to the side? Some of it is Grimes, but the biggest one, RJ
Barrett.
RJ is struggling, and what are they doing? They're putting Hart in, and they're putting RJ to the bench. And look what Hart is doing. So I get where you're coming from, Breezy, but when you make these trades to bring these pieces in, you don't just sit them behind the guys who are already there. There has to be some even balance, because those guys were brought in, and they weren't brought in to sit the bench. They were brought in to be some key players to what you're trying to do. Some should be startings. Yeah, to your point, some of your bench players, I don't know Sumner, so I can't speak to him. But, some of these guys, and plus in the same token, you do still have to try and figure out and see. It's just that you guys brought in so many different pieces. Like with my Knicks, is just one piece. So in a sense, it's kind of easier.
Yeah.
But to say you bring them in and, they sit behind those other guys, and it's kind of hard that way, because you guys are in a position, you're talented, you really are. That is a take. You got pieces, you just need a superstar here or there that can fit in. And next thing you know, you guys are going to be taking off. Thomas, I'm not going to argue with you. You've been pounding him for the longest. The kid can score. I knew he could score back to his days in LSU when I saw him. I thought the Knicks were going to draft him, and when we didn't, I was just like, what? So when you got him, I said, yeah, And then when I've seen him play and how he goes off that what 40-point game, yeah, you get the game where the teams in the NBA, they're gonna blitz them, they're gonna shut them down, So and then you still try and work them in, but the other guys you just brought in, you got to work them in to fit into the system, into the culture, to what you're trying to do. And I think long term, you really do have a good team. You really do, and it's not to me. It's really not that far off from competing. You only got the Cavaliers and the Sixers. Literally, what 3.5 games to separate you three?
Yep.
Three and a
Yeah,
half
bro.
3.5 games. You guys could be sitting in the third spot, even with this new constructed team, if things swing your way. And like you're saying, you're talking about defense. Defense to me in the NBA, if you're playing good defense, it really does go a long way. Because, like you said, when you don't have the offense, you still got to be able to shut the other team down. And you guys scare me long term. You're back to where you were when before you made the trade with KD and for KD and Kyrie. But I'm going to say this: when teams make bad mistakes like that, you don't get a second opportunity. This is a second opportunity. You're back to where you were building. Just build it the right way. That goes to your GM. Continue to build it the right way, and next thing you know, you're going to have a superstar that wants to be here. And now that goes for both New York teams because I've been killing my Knicks, but the way they playing, if they keep playing like this, go ahead and put the egg in my face, rub it all over my head, into my locks, massage it in. I'll eat it. I'll eat it because if they continue to play like that and the Nets develop it, which I think you guys will, New York basketball is going to be back to where superstars want to be. Superstars are going to want to be, and you put a superstar on one or both of these teams that can close out games. I do think we're competing for the top spot in the East. Sorry, I just do. Anybody want to kill me? Go ahead, kill me.
And the bad thing about it, you look if anybody I sub up out of the lineup or put as a backup is Dinwiddie. I will start actually Cam Thomas, but Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, they were starters on a contending team. They were actually starters on a contending team, so they got it. They know what they're doing. They know how to put the ball in the basket. It was just like Breeden said, that 5-minute drought really killed the Brooklyn Nets. They had open opportunities too. Most of them were open opportunities and good shots. They just didn't knock them down. But Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, I think they're upgrades in the starting lineup. But other than that, I will take out Dinwiddie and go with Cam Johnson as the start. It's probably the starter. We'll go with Cam Johnson is actually the starter.
That's interesting.
And make sure Claxton stays here long term. That dude is a difference maker in the center position. He's the heart and soul of that Nets team. I want Nick Claxton here for a very long time. That dude deserves to be here for a long time because he's transformed that Nets team and how teams play down low because they know big number 33 is there to swat that ball away and get those rebounds. And even his offensive game is starting to improve slowly. So Claxton has got to be. If it's not Cam Thomas, to me, it's Nicholas Claxton. That dude's the heart and soul, and he's the central figure of that basketball team going forward. You make sure that dude is a Brooklyn Net for a long time, and don't even think about trading him.
Be safe. Have a good one, Mitch.
All right, Mitch. Mitch is out, man. All right,
Ciao,
man.
Mitch.
We're gonna talk about the Knicks here for a little bit, man. So tell me, what was your thoughts on this trade, man, Coach, man, and what do you think? Hart, like, how do you see it? I know you talked about it just a little bit, man, with RJ, man, but what are you seeing from Hart? I know it's just been one game, but what's your thoughts? What's your feeling, and how does he fit in, man? Because you guys seem to have a little bit of a logjam there at that position as well. So how do you think Hart fits in, and what is your expectation, man, for him moving forward and for the team?
I said it before. I mean, ultimately, you traded 2 first round draft picks for Josh Hart. I mean, because you start with the trade that brought Reddish from Atlanta. I mean, you traded
Mhm.
Kevin Knox in the 1st round draft pick for Reddish. You bring Reddish here, who Tibbs didn't want. So that's the dysfunction between management and the head coach.
Mhm.
Tibbs didn't want to play him basically. I mean, when Cam was in there at certain time getting consistent minutes, it seemed like he was fitting in. Um, but ultimately, okay, he got traded. It is what it is there. Um, you trade, in essence, like I said, 2 1st round draft picks for Josh Hart. The way he's been playing these first 2 games and what I've seen, um, I think he's the right fit for what the Knicks need. First of all, his defense, like I was saying earlier, that boy plays some defense. That yeah,
Mhm.
I'm like, yes, that's what we call New York style defense. The way he plays, he gets at it, and it kind of flows through everyone else. It becomes infectious, which is why a lot of the fan base is saying sit RJ Barrett. He's kind of in a sense. Um, hmm?
Yeah. This
Huh?
Okay. All right,
said
I'll do
Coach
that. I'll
Ed,
do that.
check your DMs. Mute your mic.
If oh, he wants me to. Oh, he sent me something. Never mind. I'm sorry. That's what
Mm.
threw me. All right. I thought I was giving you guys heard an echo. He was hearing an echo or something like that.
Nah, you
All right.
good. You good. You sound you fine.
No, I think his
Okay.
I think he might have the YouTube on because he was echoing a little bit. But you're good now, Coach.
Mm.
Do have an echo, but the YouTube that I have open is just to the main page. It's not on the show. All right. You know what? Let me just make sure. I'm gonna close this out. All right. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now Hart plays good defense. Also, he attacks the rim. I mean,
Mhm.
I love the way he attacks the rim. I mean, the I mean, getting 27 points. I'm like, wow, and I don't want to say he regulated Julius Randle to a lesser option, but he made he contributed very well. So as far as the trade goes, I'm comfortable with it through everything. I'm comfortable with it. He's fitting in. Yes, McBride is the one who's the result of losing playing time behind him, but I would have done the same thing too. If it was between McBride or Hart, yes. But for some reason, this team is just their games are starting to elevate. If you could just get something out of RJ, I mean, after signing that big contract and what you're getting this year, it's just
What y'all
it's
gonna
not.
do with him though? Mm-mm.
I don't. I can't see you doing anything because he signed for what, another 3 years. So it's like you're
Mm.
stuck unless somebody is willing to take him, or you're going to have to give up major 1st round draft picks, which is like nah. I'd rather you just keep him and see what you can get. RJ, he's going to have to be regulated to the bench. I know some fans don't want to hear that $100 million player coming off of the bench, but the question is Josh Hart. If Hart continues to play like this and RJ is playing the way he's playing, I'm sorry, you have to do it. I'm not sitting Grimes, even though Grimes is not hitting his outside shots. Grimes still gives you that good defense. He does a lot of the
Yeah.
other things that you need. So, um, no, you keep Josh Hart right where he is. He's doing well. There's no. The only thing I could say about Brunson is why the hell isn't he an All Star? I just can't see why he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
selected.
It's crazy,
You know,
man.
you
I
know.
got a question. When you're done, Coach, I have a question for you, and I also have a question for Coach Dante as well.
Um, and as far as Julius Randle, I mean, the kid is just playing. I have to give him his respect. He's out there. He's putting in that work. He giving you double doubles on occasion. His defense isn't game stopping. It's not Pittman or Rodman esque, but he's out there. Putting in that work and giving it to you. So he's fitting in. Tibbs. All right, maybe I'm starting to see something defensively. The defense seems like it's starting to pick up a little bit more, but Mitchell Robinson, I think, will probably be the key when he comes back to the defense. Sims, I love Sims. I've said it from the beginning.
Mhm.
I'm glad we got that kid. Even Hartenstein. Hartenstein is starting to pick up his game, man. So and
Mm-hmm.
defensive end. So it's I'm seeing it. That's why I'm kind of, in a sense, kind of backing off. I have to. I'm accepting the egg on my face. They're proving me wrong, and that's fine. Go right ahead, prove me wrong. I can't be as harsh anymore because they're not that far out of the standings. I mean, they're, we're two games behind you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, yeah, we're 9.5 behind Boston, but when you look at the big picture, you know, can we all, you guys and us, can we push for the top 6 in the East? Yes. And I don't
Yeah, you
think
got
we're,
Miami in the way. Mm,
We got them tomorrow too. If we lose to
and
them,
you
we're only a
got
half game off.
you got the Miami Heat right in between the Nets and the Knicks. So
it's, but I'm talking about in terms of in the East, in terms of overall, like with Cleveland. I don't think you guys are
standings,
that
yeah,
far. Yeah. What I'm saying
right.
is, in
That's what I'm talking
terms of
about.
we're playing long term, we can all compete with Cleveland, Brooklyn, Miami, New York.
Absolutely.
All
I
four of us
agree.
can compete to get to that 4 spot. So in essence, I mean, that's why I said it's looking good for New York basketball in the long run for this season. So, look, Brooklyn, you guys, I get it. You traded away 2 superstars. Once you guys figure that out, y'all play that good defense. I think you guys can play and get some develop some continuity on offense. The Knicks continue to do what you're doing. Just figure out what you're doing with RJ, or RJ step up your damn game and be consistent. Because that's the thing that bothers me with RJ. One night he'll go out and get you 30 points, and the next damn night he's getting you 5. Bro, you can't do
At
that, man.
least he get you 30 on some nights.
But
We'll be lucky if Ben Simmons gets us 4.
I get you.
You
I
be
get
lucky. He more likely to get 4 personal fouls than four
Yeah.
points.
the point I'm making is with RJ. You got to step your game up, bro. I mean, you're a young player. You're 22 years old. I get it, but you have first of all, you have the mentality for being in New York. All right, you don't have that elite physicality to play the game, but build your own. Take it and play it into your and don't force it. And be consistent. If he's getting me a consistent 19 a game, all right, I'm cool. 20 a game, all right, I'm cool. But to go from 30 to 5, that's yo, bro, that's the girl teasing you. She's showing you a little. She's showing you the
Yeah.
popping her bra down and showing you a little breast, and you like, yeah, yeah, rubbing your hands,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, she's like, no, I'm not in the mood anymore. What?
Yeah.
What? And that's RJ Barrett right now this year. It's like, look, I want you to be consistent. If you're gonna give me a little strip cheese, you can show me a little breast, start little dancing with her, shake them hips, blow kisses, whatever. Keep going with it. Just don't show it a little bit and then stop. And
That's
that's
like
Right.
Ben Simmons wearing a sweatshirt the entire time. He's showing us nothing. Showing
so.
us nothing.
But that's it. All
Yeah.
right, I'm
But
done, fellas. Go ahead.
but coach, I got a question for both coaches. First with for Coach Ed. Are you surprised at all that the Knicks didn't make any other moves at the trade deadline? Because I thought for certain that they would try to trade away at least an Obi Toppin because the fact that
I
he
told y'all they
hasn't
was
really
gonna
getting a
stay
lot of
pat,
playing.
didn't I?
He's not getting a lot of playing time and everything. And then just real quickly for Coach Dante afterwards. I know you're probably already thinking about the NFL draft, and by the way, I love the D'Amico Ryans hire. I think that's a fantastic coach for you guys. Are you on the Bryce Young train? Or are you on the CJ Stroud train? Because we're all thinking you guys are going quarterback at pick number 2. So, what is your outlook for the Houston Texans going into the free agency and especially in the NFL draft And what type of team is D'Amico Ryan's going to be putting together and his coaching staff?
I'll make it quick. Am I surprised that Knicks didn't make a trade? No. And it's not because I thought they were going to stand pat. I just think teams were trying to get way too much out of the Knicks, and they're like, "No, you're not gonna screw us over." So we'll just stay with what we got. We're not in the shithole in a sense. We're still competing. So we'll stay put because I think for what's his name, OG up north in Toronto. I think they really wanted maybe 5, 6 first-round draft picks and a couple of our young players, and I wouldn't have even wanted to do that. So, I'm not surprised. I'd rather we stand pat the way we are. So, go ahead, Coach Dante.
Yeah, first of all, I want to respond to Coach Ed. I actually really like that Josh Hart move. I think he brings a lot of energy on that defensive side. And don't forget, him and Jalen Brunson played on the same team in Villanova. So they was brought up with that winning culture, with that toughness over there. So I really like that move. But for the Houston Texans, I'm on both Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. I think both of those guys are great quarterbacks.
Wow.
I'm not concerned about Bryce Young's size. I'm not concerned at it at all. He didn't have 1,000-yard wide receiver in Alabama. His receiving core was actually weaker than it has been. But with D'Amico Ryan's brains, he's gonna turn Derek Stingley into something. We already knew what Jalen Petrie was this year. He kind of got snubbed a little bit, but other than that, he led all safeties and tackles. We got to get the defensive line fixed because that's one thing we lacked at far as the running game. We was a terrible.
I got pick number 2.
Yeah, we got pick number 2 and 13. We got pick 2 and 13. So
that's right.
We lacked that running game.
I'm glad you're talking about this, Coach. I just want to show y'all something that I was surfing Twitter and I saw that kind of leads into this. I'm going to share it right now, NYG. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Go ahead, finish what you're saying, Coach. While I'm bringing that.
So we lacked in stopping the run all season long. Our defense, our secondary was great. Our secondary was top 10 and top 10. But people didn't need to throw the ball. All they had to do was run the ball, and we were gashed the whole game and stuff like that. So our secondary was great. Steven Nelson was really good. The whole secondary, I mean, whoever played, they were really good. So we had 16 interceptions this year, which was 4th in the league. So we were really good at secondary. That was a very strong point of our team. The run defense was a terrible part, so I think we need to get some pass rushers in here. And like I say, I'm a big fan of CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. I think we do need to get a receiver at 13 as well, another receiver, because Brandon Cooks, I think we're going to let him go. I think we're going to trade him, and I'll be glad if we definitely trade him. We do get John Mechie back coming off the cancer. We do get him back. So we look pretty promising. And I think we definitely will be aggressive in the offseason now that the D'Amico Ryans is here and he got his coaching staff together. So I definitely think, we're going to be more aggressive in this.
Who y'all get for the OC?
We got I think it was Slowick. I think we got Slowick as the OC. He comes from San Francisco. So he brought most of the guys down, the passing game coordinator and all that, the staff over there for San Francisco.
Smart.
Yeah. So
definitely.
Other than that, just get the quarterback, no matter who it is, CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. I'll be happy with both of them.
Do you have a preference though? If it was up to you?
Do I have a preference? No. I'll take both. I'll take either one. It doesn't matter. I'll take either one. Either one may like I say, matter of fact, I do. I prefer Bryce Young, but like I say, I think CJ Stroud is great too in his own mind. I think he's really good too as well. So I will be happy with both of them and a receiver at 13. I'm not high on Quentin Johnston. I'm not high on him. The best receiver, no doubt, in the draft to me is Addison. Jordan Addison is the best receiver.
I agree.
He's the best receiver that I think the Texans need to get. And I'm more high on Jalen Hyde too. If we don't get a receiver at that spot, or we can get Zay Flowers. So I'm really
Flowers is really good.
I think like Jordan Addison, but Jordan Addison to me is overall the best receiver in the draft.
Totally agree with that, man.
Great analysis, Coach Dante.
One real quick question for you, Coach Dante. What if somebody trades up to Chicago for that number 1 pick, man, and you guys are sitting there and basically you don't get the quarterback that you coveted? Say somebody jumps you and takes Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
would you trade out of that spot, or you just take the next best quarterback available?
You just say CJ Stroud, the second best quarterback in the second best quarterback. You just take CJ Stroud. Well, I'm not. If I'm the Texans, I'm not going up to one spot. I'm not trading all my picks up to one spot. I'm sitting right there and wait because I can either get CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, regardless who trades up. If someone wants to come up and get Stroud, then that's perfect. You got Bryce Young right here. If someone wants to come up and get Bryce Young, then you got CJ Stroud right there. You got CJ Stroud. So I'm standing pack. If I'm the Texans, I'm standing pack, and I'm going to let someone go up and get. If they want to get the quarterback, I'm gonna let someone go up and get it. Either way, you get one of those two quarterbacks.
What kind of offense does this coach like running? Does he have a specific type of offense he likes to run? Maybe that would have a lot to do with the type of quarterback that you get that might fit his system.
It's gonna be a lot to do with the quarterback. It depends on the quarterback situation. It's gonna be a lot to do with the quarterback.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Coach, you up, man? I see you got
you got the screen up?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys see it surprised me first and foremost that the Jets were number one in allowing the least amount of touchdowns.
Doesn't surprise me. Their defense was great. That doesn't shock me at all.
Number one, if you had told me number 3, 4, 5, okay, fine.
Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, that's why. Those two guys were unbelievable.
But my next point was, based off of all this, the Giants are tied for 6. That's what really got me in all of this. I was just like, wow. And then lastly, looking at this right now tells me that Chicago has to take a defensive player. Are they trading out of the number one? If they trade, I think they probably drop to maybe no worse, number 4.
Yeah,
maybe 5.
I don't think they drop out of. If they're gonna trade, I don't think they drop out of the top 5. I really don't think they drop out of the top 5.
And it, to me, that means it's well, I'm not. I'll give a little taste. Jalen Carter is their player. I really think Jalen Carter. It's not Will Anderson. I think it's Jalen Carter. I think he's the one that they're looking at. But they'll take Will Anderson if Carter is gone, based on their positioning. So, but like I said, looking at all of this,
they could get both. You never know. They could get both if they trade back and a team's willing to give up a fortune. They could have 2 picks in the top 6 or 7, so they could potentially get both of them if they want.
Yeah, true.
Man, that's possible.
It's possible, yeah, but
I don't see
that number 1 pick is going to be worth a lot this year, and the Bears are in a great place because they got their quarterback, and that first pick is going to be worth a lot. They're going to get a team to sell of the ransom to get to that number 1 pick.
And don't forget they have the most money in the salary cap, so they're going to be able to fill their team come once free.
They're going to build a good team over there, man.
They're going to get good quick, yeah. They can get good very quick.
Last year, if you realize no team jumped up quickly to get a quarterback. Now this year, it's a team that's going to really try to. The Black Bears phone lines are going to be blown up off the hook this year.
Yeah,
their phones is going to be blown up off the hook this year. So again, it's going to be a team that's going to willing to come up and mortgage them picks to get for the Bears to get to that Bears spot to get either of those quarterbacks. Their phones is going to be hanging up off the hook. Plus, they got the cap space this summer too. They got the cap space to make everything happen, to get some receivers, to get an offensive lineman as well. The receiving position, they definitely need some receiving position. Their receiving core is not good at this moment.
And their offensive line is terrible too. They need to get an offensive line that can go out there and protect long enough to give Justin Fields any type of play on the quarterback position. That's the best thing that happened. The best thing that could have happened for Chicago this year was the emergence of Justin Fields and the way he played, because him going out there and playing as well as he did and as dynamic as he was at the quarterback position, that allows Chicago, and that puts Chicago in such a great spot where they could just sit there and be like, we got $100+ million in cap space this year. We got the number 1 pick, and we got our quarterback. So they could just sit there in the sweet spot and be like, we could have those phones ringing off the hook because there's 2 or 3 quarterbacks that teams are going to want to jump up and grab, and they could get a massive fortune going back for that pick. They could essentially have 2 top 5. They got 2 picks in the top 5 if they want, because I think a team is going to be willing to mortgage a lot for that number 1 pick. And people forget the number one pick, you're going to have to give up a hell of a lot of draft capital to get up there. And Chicago could be in such a great position that they can get 2 monster cornerstone players in that draft in the first round. And that's not even including the other draft picks they can get in the second, third, and etc. So the Bears, they are in such a good position right now because of how well Justin Fields played this year and the emergence of Justin Fields, that team, if they do it right in free agency and the draft, the Bears can get good, and they can get good quickly. They could be that one team in 1 year that can become much better. Coach has bored by the
I looked at the bitch sent me. All I gotta say is, "Damn you, Nick! All right, you got that one off. You got that one off, bro."
What did he say? Wait, what did he say?
He sent me a video. All I can say, and it deals with Rihanna. I'll just leave it like that.
I can only imagine.
I'll just say, look, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Coach is probably thinking one thing right now: Brazil.
Let's
Thank you, Jeff.
Let's real quick, man.
Yeah.
Coach sent me shout out, Coach, man. You sent me this list with the power rankings, the NFL power rankings, according to CBS Sports. So I'm gonna go through the top. Well, I'll just get this one out the way. Dante, your Texans are 31st. Not a surprise, but I didn't want to leave you out the conversation. But we'll go through the top 10 real quick.
Okay.
First is the Chiefs. Not a surprise. Sure. Second, the Eagles. Not a surprise. The Bengals are 3. The Bills are 4. 49ers are 5. And here's where it gets funky. The Cowboys are 6.
Get the F out of here.
The Jaguars are 7th. The Chargers are 8th. And the New York Giants are 9th.
At least we're in the top 10.
And rounding out the top 10 is the Baltimore Ravens at 10. Then you got the Vikings, Dolphins, Seahawks, Lions, Packers. So,
where are the Jets, by the way?
Ooh, Jets. Where you at, Jets? 21st.
I think they should be a little higher.
They should probably be over the Titans. You could argue the Commanders is above them at 19. I can't put them over the Patriots because they beat them.
Yeah.
The Bucks, Steelers, Packers, Lions, Seahawks, can't put them over any of those teams.
The quarterback.
Yeah, they're right where I think they're right where they at. You could probably move them up 1 or 2 spots, but I think they are where they are. But what do you guys think about that list? I'll go through it again. You got Chiefs, Eagles, Bengals, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, Jaguars, Chargers, Giants, Ravens, top 10 NFL power rankings. What's your thoughts on that list, man?
I got one thing to say. The NFC East is back. The fact you got 3 teams listed in the top 10 in the 3 NFC East teams listed in the top 10. I'm sure Washington is probably not that far behind. So
they're 19th. Yeah.
All right. Well, I bet I was way off on that one, but because they don't have a quarterback. But
they're not a good team. Yeah.
No, that just shows that the league is finally starting to give respect right there to the NFC East. The fact that you have the Eagles ranked 2nd, you got the Cowboys at 6, which I still think is a little too high, and the Cowboys at 9. I mean, the Giants at 9. That just shows that the league is finally starting to see the potential of the NFC East, and after what they did this year. Plus, with the fact that they think all 3 of those teams are still going to be very good going into next year, with the Eagles having 2 first-round picks, the Giants bringing back their quarterback and their running back and their continuity and the coaching staff, and they're on the rise. And the fact that the Cowboys are pretty much keeping their coaching staff together too, and they still got a good collection of talent as well that they could supplement through the draft too. So they
their
probably
coaching
see like
staff. Well, their head coach, this isn't good. No, I like But didn't they get rid of?
They lost Kellen Moore, but I think a
Moore,
lot of fans
right.
are probably excited about that because they think
Yeah.
Kellen Moore wasn't a good fit on the offense, and
We'll see.
they think McCarthy's actually going to be doing a little bit more of the play calling.
I
over
think
there
that
with the
quarterback
Dallas
is their
Cowboys.
problem, but
Yeah, they got to find a way to keep Pollard too. Because
he's a top
Pollard
10
is,
quarterback though. Ooh, Dak Prescott, top 10, right?
yeah, top 10 throwing interceptions.
Nah, do that
Yeah,
in top
no,
10,
but I mean,
Jacksonville being at 7 is a bit of a surprise. I'm not gonna lie.
I like it.
They had a very good season, but you put them over the Chargers, you put them over the Giants,
Trevor
you
Lawrence,
put them over
Trevor
the
Lawrence.
Ravens, you put them over the Vikings and the Dolphins.
Trevor Lawrence. That's why they believe in Trevor Lawrence. They think this kid is, after what he did, they think this kid is ready to become one of the top quarterbacks
He
in
had
the
a
NFL.
good
They
season.
believe
He
in
also
him.
threw like
He's
5
really
picks
good.
in the playoffs game, but
He did,
Yeah.
but look how he
if
bounced
it
back
wasn't
in
for
the second half.
if it wasn't for the debacle that's another team shouldn't be in the top 10 is the Chargers.
No,
Get them out of here.
they're just talking. They're just going by the talent. That's why
the
they're
most
in the top
fraudulent
10.
team. They more fraudulent than Dallas. That
Yeah.
team is
But-
fraudulent.
But just to close it out, I think with Jacksonville real quickly, I mean, I got to give respect to Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson. I mean, we complained about the lack of playmakers we had in our offense. Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson made Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Marvin Jones Jr. very good players. And then also their offensive line was not good. Remember, they lost their franchise left tackle due to injury right even before the playoffs, and they still were able to go out there and get into the divisional round. So I understand why they put them at 7, and they got a good collection of young players on that defense. They got a lot of good young players on that defense. So
I like the defense. I like the weapons that they got, but basically I'm gonna credit the coaching. I'm gonna credit Doug Peterson more than I credit Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence had an up and down season. I know he had less pickoffs this year, but again, I'm still gotta wait till next year to get my rebuttal on Trevor Lawrence. I think the jury was really still out on him. I think he still makes terrible decisions with the football. In terrible situation, but I'm gonna give more respect to Doug Peterson, how he changed the culture in that locker room around. And Marvin Jones is a respectable wide receiver guy. So I gotta give more credit to them. Trevor Lawrence is a good player, but again, I gotta wait to a couple more years to see what he'll buy. But I'm not gonna say franchise changing quarterback type of player, but Doug Peterson definitely deserves some credit for how he changed his team around.
Christian Kirk was a lot better than people thought too. I thought
He was good. Christian Kirk was good. He was very good. He was solid.
He showed a lot of people up.
I got something else to show you that just so while surfing the internet or surfing Twitter. Please don't kill the messenger. This is not my take.
Oh no! Oh no! What stupid giant take is this one?
Let me know when you see it.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. So what is our record? 8 and 9?
8 and 9.
Okay.
That's a joke.
No, hey, Coach Dante, you're in third. You're in third place. You're ahead of the Colts. You're 7 and 10.
They're tied for second. They're tied for second.
Well, we'll see when we get on the field.
How do you? I mean, look. First of all, how you got Dallas at 11 over the team that was just in the Super Bowl?
Exactly.
I don't understand that. I mean,
and he has the Chiefs in number 2 in there.
How do you have the Broncos that good? What?
What?
Hey, you know what? I did see that one.
Got the Jets in first place.
Jets 11 and 6. Damn.
I did see that last night, but you predicting all of that without.
Wait a minute.
The Panthers.
That's totally fraudulent.
What?
That's totally fraudulent.
With Sam Darnold?
That actually discredit that entire list. That one thing, 13 and 4 at that. Like they not just going to get into the playoffs on some humble. They're going to be dominant. Get out of here.
The 3 teams that are dominant are the Panthers, the Jaguars and the Bengals.
Damn.
Right. Yo, when I just saw this, I'm like, are you serious, bro? Are you serious? And by the way, that's per Damian Scott, Mad Scientist. That's it. That's his page on Twitter.
If that, he's mad for coming up with that list. Are you kidding me? Carolina Panthers are going to go 13 and 4 Was Sam Darnold going to become the next coming of Peyton Manning or something? That team's defense, Frank Reich is going to turn that team into a Super Bowl contender. What the hell was that?
Yeah. So, but hey, it's going to start a good Twitter debate.
The
So.
Broncos? I mean, God, my Lord. My Lord. You know what? Yo, Dante, you might as well start getting like the Houston Texans up there to be like a 14-win team. If somebody's out there picking the Panthers to win 13, 14
Man,
games.
I ain't that type of person, man. We gonna wait till
Man.
this free agency and this draft to see what we looking like until we get on that field.
Exactly.
Man, I'm not a big
That's
fan. of that.
exactly what I'm doing with the Giants too. Wait until we see what we do in the draft and free agency before I say anything.
What's your thoughts on the Jets, man? Real quick, man. To round this thing kind of out, man. Gonna wind it down here. In a few minutes. We'll spend a couple minutes on the team that's known as the Jets, and they look here, man. You know, I mean, they got this offensive coordinator, Can't Hackett, and you know the rumors are swirling around about what they're gonna do with the quarterback position. If you're the Jets, I mean, would you consider trading up
Well,
to get a quarterback?
Woody Johnson just said that he's willing to go all in to get. Didn't he say for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, he wants to go after the man that's in the
I
dark.
thought they were
right now.
didn't they get Derek Carr's somebody that was
Derek Carr,
connected to-
Ryan Tannehill's like coach, like passing coordinator or something.
passing somebody like that. So they
Yeah.
trying to connect the dots to where they. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Jets going to be complete dog doodle if they put Derek Carr out there next year. I do not believe in that dude. I'm sorry. To me, it's going to give me vibes of a team where the quarterback is going to get in the way. But unfortunately, Rob Saleh doesn't have the time to build anymore because they failed twice with a quarterback. So now they're going to have to speed it up and go out and get one of these veterans. But if you get Derek Carr and you pay him, well, I guess you wouldn't be paying him a lot of money. He just got released, by the way.
Yeah.
I know y'all seen that.
Yeah.
If you go get Derek Carr and put him in the lineup and try to build around, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's going to be a good recipe for this team. I don't know. What do y'all think about?
I think
Derek
Carr's
Carr?
going to the Saints.
You think that's a fit?
Yeah. I mean, if you put him with the Jets first and foremost, it's almost. I don't know. I just get the feel it's the same thing he was just at with the Raiders, man.
Right.
He had talent. He had talent around him offensively. For the Jets, I really think they want Aaron Rodgers. I think they want Aaron Rodgers. And if you put Aaron Rodgers with the talent that's there on the Jets, shore up the offensive line, like we just saw about the defense, in terms of giving up touchdowns. I mean, we know they're an elite defense. You put Aaron Rodgers over there, could it be possible that they could be one of the top teams in the East? Dare I say dare I say the AFC East? Yeah, there's that possibility. But yeah, do they trade up for one of the quarterbacks? I don't think so. Because you're putting a quarterback. I mean, how far up are they going to trade? I mean, because I can't see, like we were just talking, I can't see Chicago trading down to 13?
Yeah, they're not doing that.
Unless the Jets are going to sit here and say, hey, we'll give you three first round draft picks. And will they? I mean, that's a lot of pressure to put on that rookie quarterback. With the talent there, the offense. I mean, I mean, it's possible. Yes, you're right in that regard. I just don't see it.
I don't see them getting Aaron Rodgers either. So I'm just trying to figure out what this team's going to do at the quarterback position.
Ryan Tannehill.
I mean, geez. I mean, if you got to fall back on that, man, that's an epic failure, man. Like,
ladies and
I'm gonna be
gentlemen,
clowning this team. I'm gonna be clowning them the whole season.
we may have competition. I'm talking about the New York Giants.
Nah, coach.
Don't be so. You could
That's
say
cap.
nah.
Nah,
You could say nah.
Talking about
It
Daniel
wouldn't.
Jones.
it ain't
It
happening.
wouldn't surprise me.
It ain't
It,
happening.
I don't want it to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me.
He
That's what
might
I'm
take
saying.
a visit, but I don't even think that's gonna happen. I think they're gonna try to get something done here in the next week or so. I
They
really
Now,
seem
do.
to be more committed to getting Barkley done than they do Jones right now.
They got to get Jones done first
yeah, you
because
got
you
to get
don't
your.
want it to come to a situation where you have to use the tag on Jones to keep
Yep.
him in the building, and now you got Saquon out there dangling, or whatever. You want to sign Jones, get that out the way, and then tag Saquon because
It's
Saquon's going
also
to be the harder contract to negotiate.
it's
That's
also
why
the
they're
fact.
doing Barkley first because he's the harder one right now to negotiate with. So that's why
I
they're
mean,
talking
yeah,
with him
they're
first.
talking
Yeah,
to
but
both of them, but
you always want to get your quarterback first. Your if
right,
you don't got
exactly.
no quarterback, bro, I don't care what type of running back you got or what type of receiver. You don't got the quarterback that can lead your team, that can possibly get your team to where it go. Then hey, it's nothing. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna always take care of my quarterback first. My quarterback is gonna come first.
Oh, I agree with
Also
you.
don't forget the tag is 35 million
Yep.
Yeah.
guaranteed. So if you got to sign him first as opposed to Saquon. Yeah, they probably might be negotiating and saying,
Yep.
look, we can
Yep.
get Daniel
They
Jones.
started negotiating with Saquon on the bye week. Him and Julian
Yeah.
Love, they was negotiating. So this contract negotiation been going on a while. That's why I'm saying it's taking a while, and they knew that because of the price discrepancy. Saquon
Barkley's
went
still probably
16.
asking for like 16. Yeah,
They
he's probably
they
still
want to
sticking
give
with
him
that.
12. So it's gonna be a back and forth for a while. So I think with Jones, they might be a little bit closer on a contract idea of what they want to pay him or what's fair for both sides, and I'm figuring around 35 to 37 million a season.
I think they're confident that they'll be able to get a deal done with Jones. That's why they're
Me
more
too.
negotiating right now with Barkley
Mhm.
because they know once if they can get Barkley settled on some type of deal, then I think they know they could just go right to Jones and they'll be able to lock him up,
Yeah.
knowing that Daniel Jones wants to come back, knowing that the team has a lot of value with Daniel Jones. So I think that the reason why they're going and they're negotiating with Barkley right now because I believe that they know that they're going to get Jones done. They're going to give him what he wants. They're going to give him the type of money he's looking for. So I think that that's why they're trying to negotiate with Barkley right now more because they know that's the more difficult contract and the more difficult player to try and negotiate a long-term deal with. So they figured, let's see what Barkley's looking for. I think he's still steadfast around 15, 16 million. Like you said, Giants wanted around 12 mil. They'll probably do a do-si-do somewhere and maybe they can agree somewhere at like 14 mil a year for about 3 years. I think that's where the sweet spot is. If they can somehow convince Barkley to go for about 14 mil in 3 years, and then obviously they'll be able to take care of with Daniel Jones. I don't see the Jets are going to throw the bank at Daniel Jones if he gets anywhere near free agency. That's why March 7th is such an important date. They have to get something done with Daniel Jones before March 7th. If they don't get something done by that franchise tag deadline and Barkley and Jones are still not signed, then I guarantee, lock it up, one of them will be gone because they're not going to be able to franchise one and find a way to keep the other because at that point, the other one is going to be on the free agent market. He's going to be looking for the bag at that point. So you have to get something done.
You don't want to
with one
let
of them.
Daniel Jones hit the free agent market. Not this year. With these
No.
teams starving the way they are
No.
for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And Daniel
you
Jones is the
don't wanna let
exact
that
guy
do
they
it.
want.
I don't
They
care how you
wanted
feel
Daniel
about
Jones.
him, yo. If you think you need a quarterback now, wait till he leaves. You really gonna need a quarterback.
Yeah, 26-year-old ascending quarterback.
Yeah, they're really some teams and think about this when some of these other quarterbacks get paid, that Daniel Jones deal is going to look like what it is, a deal. It's going to look like a steal, man. If you get this guy for 30, 35 million, 30, 37 million, man, and you're in constant playoff contention, yeah, you're going to be winning. You know what I'm saying? With that salary, you know what I'm saying? Because these next guy, Trevor Lawrence, 50 easy.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 60. By the time
Burrow's
he
gonna
gets,
get
by
the
the
bag
time he
too.
Burrow is another one that's gonna probably get 60.
Hurts is gonna
Justin
get the
Herbert. Justin Herbert. We're gonna get the
Herbert's
best.
another one.
Right.
Yep.
So you getting Daniel Jones for 35 to 37 million. I'm tired of these Giants fans bitching and complaining about what they're gonna pay a guy, man. That's a deal for a quarterback, man. You got Kirk Cousins making $40 million.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear that, man.
Jared
Jared Goff
Goff's
is
making that. Yeah.
40 million. So yeah, man, like miss me with all that, man. You know, but I do think they get something done. And it's gonna be sooner rather than later because they know it's a little bit of pressure on them. Because like you said, Jeff, they don't want to get to that March 7th date and have one of these guys leave via or have Jones leave via free agency because he will be getting calls, man.
You'll get Jones done before March 7th. It makes it a lot easier to decide what you're going to do with Barkley. You just tag him, like you said. He comes back for at least a year, and you still have all the way until middle of July to negotiate a long-term deal with Saquon Barkley, and
then you
know
can
you're
work
guaranteed.
on the other guys that you need to get done. You know, Thomas, Lawrence, Julian Love, whoever else they want to bring back.
I think Lawrence is going to be their top guy. I think they're going to try to get Dexter Lawrence signed to a long-term deal, and they're going to work on Leo as well. Either extend him or try to restructure his deal. See if he's willing to take a pay cut. And if he's not, then goodbye. We'll have no choice but to cut Leo because we need to bring his salary down. It's way too much right now on the cap. It's a $32 million cap hit. We've got to find a way to get Leo's cap number down. Obviously, besides Kenny Golladay. So if Leo is not willing to take the type of pay cut that the Giants are looking for, that we have no choice but to cut him because we can't keep him on this his salary unless we find a way to extend him. So that's really Leo and Dex are probably two other moves we have to make this offseason too.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Leo, I think they're gonna end up extending him, because you can keep a defensive tackle around. You know, these guys they'll play up until they're in their mid to late 30s. So having Leo around, around in his early 30s, I don't think will be the most terrible thing. Even if his play does decline a little bit, I don't think it's and which is why having depth on his defensive line is so important. Not just at the tackle position, but also at the edge. And of course, we know we need middle linebackers, but that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? But definitely keep replenishing the talent on the lines. You know what I mean? Because this is where we're going to get the advantage as Philly and Dallas and some of these other teams are losing their players on the line. We got to catch up, man. We got to catch up, man. And we can't. We need receivers. We need a lot of things. We got a lot of holes, but we do have foundation, and I think the thing to do is to build on that foundation, man, and to keep adding and stacking talent regardless of position.
That's why we need to hit through the draft. We've got to hit through the draft then, because once you pay Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones, unlike what some other teams could do, once that quarterback gets his bag and once the running back gets paid, you're going to have no choice. You're going to have to be able to hit your draft picks. And this is where Joe Shane is really going to have to show his skills as a general manager. He's going to have to be able to draft very well in the middle rounds. He's going to have to be able to get contributors in those middle rounds. He's going to have to be able to go out there and make those supplemental free agent acquisitions. And he's going to have to be able to do it like, the old school way, where you're not going to be able to just take advantage of a quarterback on a rookie deal because your quarterback's going to get paid. So we have got to go out there and draft extremely well. We already saw some potential from this past draft, but at the same time, we really didn't get enough because either these guys the guys didn't play enough. They were all getting hurt. So right now, what we need to do is Joe Shane is really going to have to do an excellent job this offseason with draft picks and just signing those players in the offseason that are really going to help supplement around the core that we are building right now on this football team. So that's what Joe Shane's going to have to do. And I'm just curious to see. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what Joe Shane is going to do this offseason. And I'm fine with whoever goes. I'm fine with whoever comes back. But right now, it all starts with Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. That's where the buck stops with the New York Giants. What is going to happen with 8 and 26? And then we're going to go from there.
I totally agree, man. Coach, you all right over there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Your thing's
You know, you got
vibrating in the back.
some background, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
What?
but
Your background is making some noises.
yeah. I don't know if what's going on. Sound like maybe some wind or something, or maybe you got a fan on or something. But
Yeah.
The fan from my laptop.
yeah, that's
Oh,
what it
okay.
is.
It
Yeah,
sounded
that's what
like
it
a
sound
truck
like.
or something was going by.
No,
um,
basically my laptop is getting hot and I have to cool it down.
Oh, okay.
oh nah, you good. We about to wrap
My
up
fault.
anyway.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask if you got anything for Coach's Corner today. And we'll wrap up with that.
No, I'm good.
All right, cool, man. Look here, man. Definitely shout out to everybody that came through tonight, man. You know, it was a wonderful turnout, like always, man. I appreciate all our supporters, man. You know, Mitch, man, stopping in, man. Shout out to Mitch, man. Shout out to the Hardcore Network, man.
Thanks for the update, Mitch.
Computer updated. Have a great night. Yeah. Tommy, man. Shout out to Tommy, man. Tommy, man, let Tommy G in, man. We're gonna have some road graders, 12 and 13 personnel. We're gonna be running the football, man. Like Tommy's approach to the game, man. Koof, man, always coming in, man, with some real good information, some real good knowledge, man. Raphael, man, always stopping by, showing support, man. So is bookends, tackles.
Yeah. Koofman said it right too. That last comment he had about the $72 million one touchdown guy. What a great investment that was. Thanks, Kenny Galladay.
Most expensive TD in history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Greatest New York
yeah.
Giants contract ever given. Who's more useless, Ben Simmons, or Kenny Galladay? Flip a coin.
Shit. Yeah, man.
Oh, they gave you that great block.
That's true.
Yeah. Ben Simmons plays defense. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's still not. You're still not getting what you want out of these
I was
guys.
being
But
sarcastic.
I know. Blue City, man, stopping by, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate Coach Dante, man, for coming up on the panel, as well as Big Fan Breezy and Mitch. Also, man, shout out to Wifey, man, you know, for being a good sport, man. It was a tough loss, man, but she ain't flipped no cars out, and she didn't flip on me either. So that was pretty cool.
Well, that's good at least.
Yeah, man.
She
We
probably
had
had
a
that
good time,
smirk
though.
on the back of your face and like.
Oh yeah, it was
smiling.
snarky for sure. Yeah, you know, I got smacked in the head a couple times, but Earl, man, appreciate Earl, man, stopping by, man, always showing support, man. You know what I'm saying? My man Levance, always, man, best dinners on YouTube, man. But hey, man,
good.
my last that's my last words, man. You guys got any last words, man? Tell the folks, man, where they can find you, man. Tell them what you got going on. Any updates, man, for your channels, anything like that.
You find me at I'm sorry. There we go. All right. Seems to have seems to have calmed down. You guys don't hear the fan anymore, do you?
No.
Nah, you good. Go ahead. Say what you say. Tell them your channel and tell them your plug, because I'm streaming this on Facebook too. So it's probably some new viewers.
All right. My page is Coach A. Gladney's Amazing World of Sports. That's on YouTube. I was working on my draft positionings, my draft rankings. I'm starting out with the defensive line. That'll be true edge rusher, defensive ends, and interior guys, not edge outside linebacker type deals. But I was hoping to get it today, but it should be out tomorrow, and going to be getting out positional rankings thereafter, pretty much every day after that. And then my overall top. I'm either going to do a top 50 or top 100 once I get done with all of that. So, and of course, I'm still going to be working to get out more content, and especially with all this draft process coming out. And, you know, I'm also going to be focusing on the Liberty, as well as you may see me do a little bit of the XFL, which is actually starting on the 18th. as well as the USFL later in the year. Even if I just do reports, and again, like I said, the Liberty, definitely want to talk about my libs. I'm
So
excited to see what's going on, especially after getting Vandersloot signed in. They also just brought back Epiphany Prince, basically on a contract to see if she's going to make the roster. But Piff has always been one of those players who she can handle herself. She can score. She can play defense. Former Rutgers player, won a championship with the Storm out in Seattle. From New York City. Once had a 100-point game in high school in New York. So again, I can go on and on talking about my Liberty. So I'm just excited. So I'll be going over all that and trying to bring back up women in sports too. So trying to work out a lot of things. So that's it. Go ahead, Jeff.
I mean, you can find me over at NYG Jeffy T85. Going to be doing a pick and roll podcast that I usually do every single Wednesday with my guy Mitch Kofsky, as well as Next Shift Randy and Nikki Stees at 5 o'clock. I'm going to be doing the basketball game on Thursday night. I believe it's the Phoenix Suns and Los Angeles Clippers, so I could firsthand get to boo KD on YouTube. I'm going to be also doing the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view for WWE this coming Saturday night with, of course, Mitch Kofsky, our guy Mac the Giants fan, a couple of other great YouTube content creators. I'm going to be, I'm doing a lot of baseball too, so just be on the horizon. I got a 4-part series right now. I've dropped 2 of them so far in the past couple of days. I got part 3 and part 4 coming out the next couple of days, just doing a preview for the New York Mets, and I will be doing some live streams for Major League Baseball when the baseball season kicks off next month, so I'm excited about that. I will probably be doing some USFL live streams as well, because I'm curious to see how the USFL is going to look in its second year. So I will be doing that. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any mock drafts, because I don't want to go out there and make myself look like a fool, because I'm not going to go out there and talk like I'm a draft expert or anything, but I will probably talk about some of the draft prospects that are going to be coming out, who the Giants might be interested in. Of course, you're going to be getting a lot of that Nets content still heading into the rest of the NBA season and to the playoffs. So going to have a lot of things coming out for me. Just because the Giants football season's over doesn't mean there's still not going to be a lot of content. Baseball is going to be on the horizon. Basketball is still going to be going strong. Wrestling, is always going to be there. And still a lot of big things coming. So, and of course, we're always going to be rocking it out every Tuesday night at 8:30 on the heart of the city with your guys right here. Your boys, NYG22, Coach Ed Gladney, and NYG Jeffy T85. Kick it away, NYG.
You already know, man. Good stuff, man. And you already know what it is, man. It's me, NYG22, also known as Unpopular Opinion Sports, man. I will be bringing out more content. Football's a little slow down, so we're going to pick up the basketball content. I will be putting more content out on Twitter, which I do go by NYG22. So look out for my Twitter posts. Look out for my YouTube posts. Starting to work my way back into Facebook as well. Streamed on Facebook Live for the first time tonight. So we'll be bringing you more content on Facebook as well, man. And we got a lot of things planned for this channel. Just be on the lookout, man. And my guys, Jeffy T85 and Coach Ed Gladney, man, we definitely gonna be doing big things over here on their channels as well as my own channel too. So y'all just be on the lookout for that. But that being said, until next time, man, we're gonna wrap it up, man, and we'll see y'all next Tuesday, man, for another edition of Heart in the City, man. Gonna kick it out, man, with the outro, man. But y'all be safe out there, man, and peace.
Peace.